Chapter 3296. I won't kill you, but I didn't say I'd let you go. The Netherworld Divine Lord's voice was extremely low and slightly trembling, as if trying to take one back to that distant era.
It's a fragment of the gates of hell.
Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed slightly.
A fragment of the gates of hell? The gates of hell shattered too?
The Netherworld Divine Lord said.
I don't know if the gates of hell shattered. I didn't see it with my own eyes, but the piece I saw was definitely from the gates of hell. I couldn't be mistaken.
This thing called the most terrifying, the ultimate weapon that wasn't used even when the Lord of Hell died, had actually shattered? Wasn't that so-called ultimate weapon just a joke then? Lin Moyu asked.
Where did the fragment of the gates of hell go?
The Netherworld Divine Lord said.
It didn't fall onto the origin continent, but flew up into the sky. It should have gone beyond the sky.
Beyond the sky? The realm beyond the sky was so vast. How could one search for it? This answer was as good as no answer, impossible to verify true or false. The Netherworld Divine Lord added.
At that time I hadn't been severely injured yet. I could sense the fragment of the gates of hell. It didn't fly very far. It should be somewhere just beyond the sky. If you reach the Great Tao realm in the future, you can go search beyond the sky. Perhaps you'll be able to find it.
What was beyond the sky? Lin Moyu had been fortunate enough to see it once before. Beyond the sky were many great Taos. Within some great Taos, there were great Tao realm beings. Besides that, there were also ruins beyond the sky. The fragment of the gates of hell could have fallen anywhere. Perhaps it could be found, but it would certainly be extremely difficult. Actually, the Netherworld Divine Lord didn't know much. He had stayed in the Netherworld Black Pool for years, sleeping most of the time. He only knew some things about hell. He was different from other great Tao realm beings. There was nothing more to ask him. The effect of the Great Tao Immortality Pill was about to disappear. Lin Moyu said,
All right, now it's time to deal with you.
As the words fell, Lin Moyu raised the Calamity Scepter and struck the Netherworld Divine Lord with moderate force. The Netherworld Divine Lord immediately let out a miserable cry. Lin Moyu hadn't struck hard, but the Calamity Scepter was too powerful. Half of the Netherworld Divine Lord's body shattered on the spot. With his body shattered, his aura weakened rapidly. However, with the help of the Balance Gem, his aura recovered to the 5th level Tao Venerable Realm. This was how the Balance Gem worked, maintaining balance. If you became stronger, it would suppress you. If you became weaker, it would strengthen you. Now the Balance Gem standard was the 5th level Tao Venerable Realm. The Netherworld Divine Lord cried out in terror.
You said you wouldn't kill me.
Lin Moyu said.
That's right, but I also didn't say I'd let you go. Don't worry, this Lin always keeps his word. I said I wouldn't kill you, so I won't kill you.
As he spoke, Lin Moyu struck the Netherworld Divine Lord again. Seemingly worried about killing the Netherworld Divine Lord, this strike was lighter than before. The Netherworld Divine Lord let out another miserable cry. Part of his body was shattered again. However, Lin Moyu controlled it very well. The Netherworld Divine Lord still didn't die, though his aura became even weaker than before, then recovered to the 5th level Tao Venerable Realm with the help of the Balance Gem. Looking with the undead eye, Lin Moyu saw the Netherworld Divine Lord's soul had been severely damaged. However, his soul was strong enough that he could probably take 2 more hits. Lin Moyu had said he wouldn't kill him, but he also wouldn't let him off easily. If he just let him go like this, he would definitely be a huge threat in the future. The Netherworld Divine Lord's heart was full of violence, extremely cruel towards living beings. Even if not killed, this kind of being couldn't be allowed to gain freedom. Lin Moyu chose to cripple him, then seal him away eternally. He had even thought of where to seal him. After 3 more strikes, the last one shattered the Netherworld Divine Lord's legs, helping him separate from his main body. He had always wanted to separate from his main body and become a truly independent individual. Lin Moyu helped him realize this wish. As the effect of the Great Tao Immortality Pill passed, Lin Moyu's body exploded with a boom. Then, accompanied by purple light, his body instantly recovered. The light from the gems on the Calamity Scepter faded. The effect of the balanced gem disappeared. In an instant, everyone's realms began to recover. The Netherworld Divine Lord, already beaten half to death by Lin Moyu, lost the help of the balanced gem. His aura plummeted to its lowest point, unable to even maintain the Tao Venerable Realm. He was now at death's door.
You're a liar!
His voice was weak but full of hatred, as if he might lose consciousness at any moment. He was extremely weak now, his soul severely damaged with only a third remaining. An ordinary person would have long since died completely. It was only because he was strong enough and Lin Moyu's technique was skillful enough that he barely managed to survive. Lin Moyu didn't care about his words at all. He raised his hand and drew a complex rune. The rune turned into a cage, falling onto the Netherworld Divine Lord. The Netherworld Divine Lord was instantly trapped by the rune. The power of the rune prevented him from speaking further. He completely lost consciousness, falling into endless sleep. Then Lin Moyu began refining an array disk. He wanted to refine a great array to truly imprison the Netherworld Divine Lord. After all, he had once been the Netherworld Black Dragon, an existence even stronger than Great Tao Realm. Who knew if he had any trump cards? Lin Moyu wouldn't gamble. He had to be absolutely certain in everything he did. The array disk was quickly refined. He placed the rune imprisoning the Netherworld Divine Lord into the array disk and activated the array. A great array sealing off heaven and earth was thus completed. With this array in place, the Netherworld Divine Lord couldn't absorb any origin power from the outside world, so he had no hope of recovering. Then Lin Moyu's mind stirred. A ravine appeared in the skeleton hell. Lin Moyu threw the array disk into it. This was the sealing place he had prepared for the Netherworld Divine Lord. Sealed here, he could be 10,000% at ease. If the Netherworld Divine Lord showed any strange movements, the Hell Fiends could swarm over and devour him. After doing all this, Lin Moyu finally began to survey this world. Without the Netherworld Divine Lord's control, the entire world had become quiet. The black chi was slowly dispersing. Lin Moyu's gaze swept over, seeing the whole situation clearly. The fire clouds floating in the sky were formed from one hell fragment. The ground that had turned to lava was another hell fragment. The volcano crater where he stood was the former Netherworld Black Pool. The Netherworld Black Dragon's main body was sleeping in the Netherworld Black Pool. Now, without the Netherworld Divine Lord, the two hell fragments and the main body of the Netherworld Black Pool had all fallen into a semi-dormant state. Perhaps after long ages, they might awaken again and evolve into something else.
You wanted to fuse the hell fragments, but unfortunately you couldn't do it. You overestimated your own abilities. When ambition doesn't match ability, the result is often death.
As Lin Moyu muttered to himself, he expanded the range of the skeleton hell. The skeleton hell enveloped the two hell fragments and the Netherworld Black Pool, beginning to fuse and devour them. This was the correct way to use hell fragments, fusing them into a whole, recreating hell. What the Netherworld Divine Lord had done before was like a joke in Lin Moyu's eyes. In the skeleton hell, the Black Dragon rushed out excitedly, charging into the main body of the Netherworld Black Pool and biting the Netherworld Black Dragon. The Netherworld Black Dragon's defense was extremely strong, its scales incredibly tough. The Black Dragon had great difficulty biting through. However, it didn't know the meaning of discouragement, continuing to bite tirelessly again and again. Gradually, a piece of flesh was bitten off the Netherworld Black Dragon's main body and devoured by the Black Dragon. The Black Dragon began to undergo a qualitative change. Chapter 3297. The Lost Fragment of the Gates of Hell. From the moment the Netherworld Divine Lord was sealed, the outcome was already determined. From now on, there would only be one Netherworld Black Pool, the one in the skeleton hell. The Netherworld race had been erased from the origin continent. The Black Dragon in the skeleton hell continuously gnawed on the Netherworld Black Dragon. Its body began to solidify, changing from illusory to real. A qualitative change was taking place. From now on, it would be the new Netherworld Black Dragon. Countless hell fiends were devouring the hell fragments. The two were fusing, and the skeleton hell was undergoing a qualitative change. The skeleton hell, which had reached a bottleneck, finally broke through under the fusion of two hell fragments, beginning a magnificent transformation. The power of the skeleton hell grew stronger and more real. The illusory feeling gradually receded. Whether lava, earth, or hell fiends, all became incredibly real. Without deliberately looking, one couldn't tell the skeleton hell was just a technique. More people would think it should be an independent world. The hell fiends collectively howled, their voices echoing back and forth in the former Netherworld race territory. Amidst the howls, the range of the skeleton hell expanded rapidly, increasing several-fold. The diameter it occupied expanded at a speed of hundreds of kilometers per second, growing ever vaster. The skeleton hell's expansion wasn't just towards the four directions, but also towards the sky and into the earth. The clouds in the sky were engulfed by the skeleton hell, its edges no longer visible. The earth was devoured by the skeleton hell, continuously sinking. The skeleton hell devoured heaven and earth, becoming increasingly substantial. Lin Moyu didn't know how large the original real hell was, but now his skeleton hell covered a range of 10,000 kilometers. A 10,000-kilometer radius, truly reaching to heaven and penetrating the earth. Beneath the earth, magma flowed in torrents. In the sky, lava fell as waterfalls. Countless hell fiends bathed in the lava. A red eye opened in the sky. Raging flames burst from the hell's eye. The flames gray in color, undying fire. Flames continuously spewed from the hell's eye. After leaving the hell's eye, the gray flames instantly turned into lava, merging with the hellfire. The hell fiends grew stronger amidst their howls, breaking through their limits to reach the 7th level Dao Venerable realm. There was a huge gap between 6th and 7th level Dao Venerable. Previously, the skeleton hell had been stuck at the peak of 6th level, unable to break through for a long time. Even devouring more great Dao fragments couldn't lift the restriction. Now, with the help of 2 hell fragments, the skeleton hell finally broke through its limits, advancing another step. 7th level Dao Venerable hell fiends were enough to easily trap and kill all 7th level Dao Venerables, and enough to give 8th level Dao Venerables a hard time. Then the hell fiends began to split, their numbers increasing rapidly. In less than 10 short minutes, the number of hell fiends reached 10 million, more than doubling from the previous 4 million. A 10,000-kilometer radius area, plus 10 million 7th level Dao Venerable hell fiends. Just this power alone was enough to make most forces on the origin continent despair. Even powerful forces like the beast race couldn't field 10 million 7th level venerable ancestors. Unless all the royal clans joined forces, with 8th and 9th level Dao Venerable powerhouses acting together, they wouldn't qualify to contend with the skeleton hell. To truly defeat the skeleton hell, perhaps only pseudo-great Dao realm beings would have the ability. The skeleton hell had already become very strong, but it hadn't reached its limit yet. The Netherworld Black Dragon was working hard to devour the former Netherworld Black Dragon's main body. As the skeleton hell advanced, its power also increased. The previously devoured Netherworld Black Pool now erupted with vast power, pushing its strength forward. Its body was growing thicker, larger, and longer. The Netherworld Black Pool also became even larger. The black chi it emitted more sinister. Now the black chi emitted by the Netherworld Black Pool had terrible corrosive properties, no weaker than Lin Moyu's death force. The Netherworld Black Dragon's power had always been stronger than the Hell Fiends. Its realm also slightly higher. It was the same now. It hadn't completely devoured the former Netherworld Black Dragon's main body, hadn't become the true Netherworld Black Dragon yet, but had already reached 7th level Dao Venerable, not much weaker than the Hell Fiends. Even if they fought, it would take at least hundreds of thousands of Hell Fiends to possibly defeat the Netherworld Black Dragon. The Netherworld Black Dragon could be called Hell's top enforcer. The Netherworld Black Dragon continued to devour, its power growing stronger. It bit down again and again, flesh flying, the scene quite stimulating. When it completely devoured the former Netherworld Black Dragon's main body, it would become the true Netherworld Black Dragon. Its combat power reached the peak of 7th level Dao Venerable. Then the Netherworld Black Dragon began to devour the main body of the Netherworld Black Pool, biting down piece by piece, tearing apart the Netherworld Black Pool's main body to eat. Its power continued to grow stronger. Lin Moyu knew that after it finished eating, the Netherworld Black Pool in the Skeleton Hell would become the true Netherworld Black Pool. The only difference was that it wasn't strong enough yet. The Skeleton Hell was limiting it. As long as the Skeleton Hell continued to grow stronger, it could keep improving, becoming more and more powerful. Lin Moyu shifted his attention from the Netherworld Black Dragon to the Gates of Hell entwined with Black Chi. The Gates of Hell seemed slightly more solid than before, but only a little bit. The difference wasn't very big. Lin Moyu already knew that relying on Hell fragments alone wouldn't do much to restore the Gates of Hell. It might have some use in the early stages, but after a certain point it would become useless. In the end, he would still need to find that fragment of the Gates of Hell to truly restore them to their original state. This was just like the Netherworld Black Pool. Hell fragments could only evolve the Netherworld Black Pool, but to truly restore it to its original state required devouring the Netherworld Black Pool's main body. Looking at it this way, Hell could be seen as three parts. The first part was the lava and magma region, composed of hellfire, hell fiends, spider lilies, and the Hell's Eye. The second part was the Netherworld Black Pool, composed of the Black Pool itself and the Netherworld Black Dragon. The third part, also the most important part, was the Gates of Hell. The Gates of Hell were called the Source of Hell, but even the previous Lord of Hell hadn't used them before his death. Lin Moyu didn't know if he didn't want to use them or couldn't use them. If they couldn't be used, why describe the Gates of Hell as so terrifying? Lin Moyu didn't understand the reasoning. The Gates of Hell were like a mystery. Perhaps only after he restored the Gates of Hell to their original state would he truly understand the reasons behind it. But now he understood one point. In all of Hell, the lava region was the most fragile. When Hell shattered back then, that region had turned to ash. Though the Netherworld Black Pool shattered, its main body remained, with only a small part turning to ash. As for the Gates of Hell, they only had one fragment, whereabouts unknown. In other words, it seemed that even that being back then couldn't destroy the Gates of Hell.
I must find a way to find the fragment of the Gates of Hell.
Lin Moyu's heart was full of desire for the Gates of Hell. Perhaps then he could truly become the Lord of Hell. He murmured,
"The three ancestors taking me to the ruins beyond the sky is a good opportunity. I can see what kind of world is beyond the sky. The realm beyond the small world was the great world. The realm beyond the great world was space. Then what kind of world is beyond the origin continent? Interesting."
As he was pondering, the Skeleton Hell suddenly shook violently, followed by a resounding dragon roar echoing through heaven and earth. A vast aura surged in the Skeleton Hell. The Netherworld Black Dragon broke through again, reaching 8th level Dao Venerable. It had completely devoured the Netherworld Black Pool.
"Master!"
Chapter 3298. It's truly frightening. The Netherworld Black Dragon's sudden speech surprised Lin Moyu a little. But besides the surprise, it also seemed appropriate. After all, the previous Netherworld Black Dragon had intelligence, so it was normal for his own Netherworld Black Dragon to awaken intelligence. The Netherworld Black Dragon's voice was low and hoarse, with a hint of sharp metallic scraping, slightly grating but not unbearable. However, its voice always carried a depth like the Netherworld, instinctively inspiring fear. Lin Moyu said softly,
"What's your name?"
Since it had actively awakened intelligence, it should have a name. If not, he would give it one himself. The Netherworld Black Dragon said softly,
"Great Master, you can name me. If Master doesn't want to, you can also use the previous Netherworld Black Dragon's name."
Lin Moyu asked.
"What was it called?"
He only knew the previous Netherworld Black Dragon called itself the Netherworld Divine Lord, not its true name. The Netherworld Black Dragon said,
"The previous one's name was Antares."
Lin Moyu was stunned, hardly believing his ears.
"What did you say? Say it again."
He wondered if he had misheard. The Netherworld Black Dragon said,
"From the information I got from his memories, he was called Antares."
Lightning flashed in Lin Moyu's mind. The Netherworld Black Dragon was actually called Antares. Then what was Antares called? Lin Moyu realized something. Antares wasn't his real name. The dragon race had several major surnames, but no one would take a name like Antares. He had been suspicious before, but hadn't thought deeply about it. Now it seemed Antares was indeed a fake name.
This guy has gone too far. Next time I see him, I must get to the bottom of this. Friends for so many years, and I don't even know his real name.
Lin Moyu thought to himself, then said to the Netherworld Black Dragon,
From now on, you'll be called Heyu.
He naturally couldn't let the Netherworld Black Dragon be called Antares anymore, so he gave it a new name, meaning
Black Dragon from Hell.
Whether the name was good or bad didn't matter to Lin Moyu. It was just a code name, and no matter what name he gave, the Netherworld Black Dragon would accept it, since Lin Moyu was its master. The Netherworld Black Dragon said,
From now on I'll be called Heyu. Master, when I absorbed the Netherworld Black Pool, I discovered some information from the past. Do you want to see it?
Lin Moyu asked.
What information?
Heyu said,
Some information from when Hell was destroyed in the past.
Lin Moyu immediately gestured for Heyu to release it. A beam of light shot from Heiyu's huge eyes, forming a projection. In the projection was a hell world. In hell, flames raged fiercely. Volcanoes erupted continuously, spewing endless flames. In the sky, a huge hell's eye constantly poured out flames. Among the flames, spider lilies bloomed one after another, radiating deep blue light that made the entire hell even more terrifying. Hell was extremely vast, much larger than the skeleton hell, its edges not visible. In the lava, countless hell fiends floated. Though their strength couldn't be discerned from the projection, one could imagine they were all extremely powerful. And their numbers were endless, spread throughout all of hell, far exceeding 10 million. Lin Moyu knew this was what hell looked like before it was destroyed. In the center of hell, a black pool constantly spewed black chi. This was the former Netherworld Black Pool, bottomless, no one knew where it led. A huge dragon head emerged from the Netherworld Black Pool, the Netherworld Black Dragon. In the black chi, the gates of hell flickered in and out of view. Through the projection, Lin Moyu could see the former gates of hell, covered in complex patterns, as if interpreting some profound principle of heaven and earth. Just looking at the projection, Lin Moyu felt an indescribable power. The former gates of hell were indeed much more complete compared to the current gates of hell. In the projection, the gates of hell were tightly closed, as if they had never opened. In fact, they hadn't opened for countless years, not even when hell was destroyed. Then Lin Moyu saw a person. That person was hidden in the black chi, their appearance unclear. He stood there as if he were the center of all hell, towering and incredibly powerful. In his hand he held the Calamity Scepter. The 5 gems on the scepter shone brightly. Then, a giant hand broke through hell's boundaries, striking down directly. The Lord of Hell wielded the Calamity Scepter, sending out a 5-colored beam of light that repelled this giant hand. Then, the Lord of Hell charged straight up into the sky, rushing towards the enemy. Behind him were countless hell fiends, including the Netherworld Black Dragon, also ascending to the sky. But the next moment, an incredibly vast power fell. Countless hell fiends shattered on the spot. The Netherworld Black Dragon fell back with a miserable cry, crashing back into the Netherworld Black Pool.
So strong!
Lin Moyu marveled inwardly. The opponent hadn't even launched a real attack, just casually struck like that, and countless hell fiends died on the spot. The Netherworld Black Dragon, stronger than Great Tao Realm, was severely injured on the spot, falling back into the Netherworld Black Pool, unable to move. The Lord of Hell wielded the Calamity Scepter, charging up into the clouds to battle the enemy. The aftershocks of the battle shattered Hell's barriers, causing the entire Hell to shake violently. Minutes later, 10 figures fell from the sky. The person who fell was the Lord of Hell. He had been defeated. The Calamity Scepter was still in his hand, but the gems were nowhere to be seen. A giant hand followed closely, striking down heavily on him. All of hell nearly collapsed. The ground split open, hellfire surged in huge waves. Terrifying power raged through hell, countless spider lilies withering simultaneously. Under this palm strike, the Lord of Hell turned to ash, body and Tao destroyed. Then a giant hand appeared, grasping the Hell's Eye. With a squeeze, the Hell's Eye shattered with a boom, offering no resistance. Then the giant hand struck down palm after palm. Under the palms, Hell turned to dust. Only a few fragments exploded, scattering in all directions. The Netherworld Black Pool was relatively sturdy, shattering later. The Netherworld Black Dragon was severely injured in the Black Pool, unable to move, only able to watch the scene helplessly. Hell was also its home, now destroyed like this. Only the gates of Hell still stood firm. The opponent struck the gates of Hell with a palm. Some cracks appeared on the gates of Hell, but they didn't collapse. After several palm strikes, the gates of Hell still stood. This situation seemed to anger the opponent. Then the gates of Hell faced an even fiercer attack. The opponent changed from palm to fist, striking hundreds of times in an instant. The gates of Hell finally couldn't withstand it, shattering with a boom. After the gates of Hell shattered, most of it dissipated into smoke. Only one large fragment flew out, disappearing into the distance. Then the opponent attacked Hell again. Hell completely shattered, and the scene abruptly ended. The projection recorded the entire process of Hell's destruction in the past. After watching it, Lin Moyu fell into deep thought.
The opponent was very strong, stronger than the Lord of Hell. The Lord of Hell was easily killed by the opponent, only lasting a few minutes, showing a huge gap in strength. But when destroying Hell, the opponent didn't seem to display strength that could overwhelm the Lord of Hell. There seems to be some issue here.
If the opponent could truly overwhelm the Lord of Hell, then destroying Hell should have been a very easy matter. It shouldn't have taken over 1,000 palm strikes to shatter Hell. Especially when striking the gates of Hell, it was even more difficult. This could only mean that the person who defeated the Lord of Hell might not be the owner of this giant hand.
This giant hand was already powerful enough. If there's an even stronger being behind it, it's truly frightening.
Chapter 3299. Compared to believing in myself, I believe more in Teacher. The new Netherworld Black Dragon finally stabilized at the 8th level Tao Venerable Realm. However, Lin Moyu knew clearly that with the Netherworld Black Dragon's combat power, using the Skeleton Hell and Netherworld Black Pool as foundations, it could contend even with 9th level Tao Venerables. Even if it couldn't defeat them, entangling them for a while wouldn't be a problem. 10 million 7th level Tao Venerable Hell Fiends were enough to sweep through all 7th level Tao Venerables, and even had a certain probability of trapping and killing 8th level Tao Venerables. The 10,000 kilometer coverage area was also extremely vast. The Hell's Eye was also stronger than before. Below 7th level Tao Venerable, no matter how many there were, almost none would survive being swept by it. The spider lilies were more lush. The spider lilies' function was to weaken. Most powerful experts, once surrounded by Hell and illuminated by the spider lilies, would have their strength reduced by at least 30%. Overall, the Skeleton Hell was a terrifying technique capable of destroying sects and exterminating clans. The Skeleton Hell's advancement was complete, but for Lin Moyu, there was still one last step. He now had a full 30 Tao patterns in an idle state. The reason these Tao patterns weren't used was to prepare for the Skeleton Hell. Previously, the Skeleton Hell had already carried 12 Tao patterns. After carrying the Tao patterns, the Skeleton Hell's power had greatly increased. This time, Lin Moyu had prepared even more Tao patterns for it. Lin Moyu had his own reasons for doing this. He needed top-tier combat power. If he distributed the Tao patterns to other techniques, even if the techniques were strengthened, it would be a balanced strengthening. Only the Skeleton Hell was an exception, transcending the technique system, not needing to maintain balance with other techniques. This way, Lin Moyu saw an opportunity. Specializing in one thing to excel in all things, the Skeleton Hell had almost no weaknesses. As long as it was powerful enough, it would be enough for Lin Moyu to dominate. With a thought, 10 Tao patterns flew out, landing on the Skeleton Hell. The Tao patterns glowed brightly, containing Lin Moyu's insights into the Great Tao. with the purest vast power. The Tao patterns had to be in pairs, maintaining their own yin-yang balance. They always had to be used in pairs. If used one by one, the effect would be greatly reduced. 10 Tao patterns quickly merged into the skeleton hell. The lava in the skeleton hell began to boil rapidly. Its power began to increase again. Its range began to expand, quickly exceeding 10,000 kilometers, growing larger and larger. At the same time, the hell fiends collectively howled, then quickly began to split. When all 10 Tao patterns had merged, the skeleton hell's range had reached 15,000 kilometers, increasing by 50%. The hell fiends were the same, increasing from 10 million to 15 million. However, their aura hadn't changed, still at 7th level Tao Venerable. The changes brought by the 10 Tao patterns seemed to only affect range and numbers. Lin Moyu looked at Heiyu.
Do you feel any changes?
Heiyu answered truthfully.
In response to Master, after Master merged the Tao patterns, our upper limit strengthened somewhat, but our realm didn't change. And we feel hungry, needing to feed.
Hearing the hell fiend's howls, Lin Moyu roughly understood the meaning of the Netherworld Black Dragon's words. The upper limit had strengthened, but the current realm hadn't changed. And because the range and numbers had sharply increased, the hell fiends kept splitting, causing their power to become hollow, needing to feed to replenish their strength. But even if they didn't replenish, it wouldn't matter. The hell fiends wouldn't rebel or cause any trouble. At most, they would just be hungry. They couldn't starve to death anyway. However, in this state, their power would be affected to some degree, unable to exert full strength. Lin Moyu grasped the key point. The skeleton hell's upper limit had increased. In other words, the skeleton hell had a chance to advance to a higher level. This was the true function of the Tao patterns. No matter how much the upper limit could increase, any increase was good. Without another word, Lin Moyu sent another 10 Tao patterns into the skeleton hell, directly pushing the skeleton hell's Tao pattern count to 32, far surpassing other techniques. After merging another 10 Tao patterns, the skeleton hell's range expanded to 20,000 kilometers, and the number of hell fiends increased accordingly to 20 million. The upper limit also strengthened again. As for how much it strengthened, that was still unknown. In Lin Moyu's view, strengthening the upper limit was more important than simply strengthening the technique, because he believed that sooner or later, he would be able to push the skeleton hell to its limit. At that time, the importance of the upper limit would become apparent. However, 32 Tao patterns still weren't enough. He needed to continue merging more. Now there were 10 Tao patterns left. After thinking for a while, Lin Moyu didn't give the 10 Tao patterns to the skeleton hell, but kept them in reserve. Lin Moyu always believed in being prepared. 10 Tao patterns wouldn't produce a qualitative change in his combat power, so there was no need to use them for now. He had the skeleton hell and Supu, which were already powerful enough. As long as it wasn't someone like the three ancestors taking action, there was probably no one on the origin continent who could harm him. Lin Moyu put away the skeleton hell, then pulled Little May out of the rules world. Little May had watched the entire process. Except for a few secrets, Little May could be considered the person who understood him best on the origin continent. Lin Moyu sincerely wanted to cultivate Little May, so he was also sincere in his treatment, not hiding anything. He believed Little May also understood his intentions. Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Having seen the whole process, how do you feel?
Little May's eyes flashed with worship and a hint of emotion.
Thank you, teacher, for trusting Little May.
Lin Moyu said,
Don't use someone you doubt. Since I've taken you as a disciple, I naturally trust you completely. And this teacher also believes that Little May will naturally keep some secrets for this teacher.
Little May nodded.
Don't worry, teacher. Little May knows very clearly what should be said and what shouldn't be said.
The current Little May couldn't be viewed as a 10-year-old child. After receiving her past life's memories, though she was still an independent individual, she had been influenced by her past life to some degree. On the surface, Little May still looked cute and lively, but her mentality had already matured. In her past life, Little May had once stood in a high position, knowing many things ordinary people didn't know. For example, she understood something about hell. Little May probably wouldn't be interested in things that were too low level. So all along the way, Lin Moyu had let her see some sights she hadn't seen in her past life, including this time. He let her see how hell was destroyed, how that once incredibly powerful being was killed. Lin Moyu said,
"How does Little May view hell's destruction?"
Little May thought for a moment, then shook her head.
"Whether the Lord of Hell or the person who killed the Lord of Hell, they're both too powerful. Their level is too high. Little May doesn't really understand."
The Great Tao realm level was already beyond Little May's comprehension, let alone the Lord of Hell who surpassed the Great Tao realm, and the being who could kill the Lord of Hell. Lin Moyu smiled.
"No need to rush. This teacher believes that one day, Little May will understand."
Little May naturally understood the meaning in Lin Moyu's words. Her big eyes lit up.
"Will there really be such a day?"
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
"Of course there will be. Little May should believe in herself, and also believe in this teacher."
Little May looked at Lin Moyu with a sincere expression.
"Compared to believing in myself, I believe more in teacher."
Lin Moyu laughed heartily.
"Let's go, we should head back."
Just as they were about to leave, Lin Moyu suddenly turned his head to look into the distance, his footsteps stopping. Little May's expression also changed slightly, sensing something unusual. Chapter 3300. The Lightning Lich's Strongest Attack. Little May, possessing an innate Tao soul, had spiritual perception far surpassing ordinary people. Though her realm wasn't high, she could still sense many things others couldn't. After Lin Moyu stopped in his tracks, Little May also noticed something unusual. Little May said,
"The space here seems to have been sealed off."
Lin Moyu's expression became slightly grave.
"Yes, someone has sealed off the space. I didn't expect he would really come. I'm quite curious how he discovered me."
Lin Moyu believed that the commotion he had caused, except for the final battle, wasn't that big. For the other party to discover him, thinking it over, there was only one reason. Little May asked,
"Teacher, who did this?"
Lin Moyu said,
"Withering and Flourishing Elder."
Little May made a sound of surprise, clearly somewhat shocked.
"The Withering and Flourishing Elder from the 100 Herbs Alliance?"
Lin Moyu made a sound of agreement.
"After failing to kill me twice, he still hasn't given up. It seems he has quite a few spies here too."
In the 100 Herbs Alliance, there were countless flowers and grasses. Among them, one of Withering and Flourishing Elder's avatars called Wildgrass could propagate countless wildgrasses to monitor the world. Using this avatar, nothing in the 100 Herbs Alliance could escape Withering and Flourishing Elder's eyes and ears. The Beast Emperor had told him this before, but now it seemed there was more to it. He still carried the Beast Emperor flower refined by the Beast Emperor, which could avoid Withering and Flourishing Elder's detection. The Beast Emperor had said that as long as he didn't enter 100 Herbs Alliance territory, Withering and Flourishing Elder couldn't find him. The Netherworld race's territory was eternally entwined with Netherworld Black Chi, where no grass grew and nothing lived. There shouldn't be any of Withering and Flourishing Elder's spies here. But with his arrival, though the disturbance wasn't big, he was still discovered by the Netherworld race. The Black Chi dispersed, and the Earth regained a faint vitality. The changes in the Netherworld race's land must have caught Withering and Flourishing Elder's attention. So his avatar came, coming from beneath the Earth, bringing vitality here, while also allowing Withering and Flourishing Elder to see what was happening inside Netherworld race territory. This action was silent and carried no hostility, so even Lin Moyu hadn't noticed. In the end, Withering and Flourishing Elder discovered him. Lin Moyu used all his eyesight to gaze into the distance. What he saw confirmed his guess. On the distant ground, a faint gray appeared on the originally dead land. The gray was inconspicuous, not the color of the earth. Looking carefully, one could see it was a kind of small gray grass. The gray mixed with the dead earth, extremely difficult to notice. This was Withering and Flourishing Elder's avatar, Wild Grass. It was through this avatar that Withering and Flourishing Elder discovered him. Lin Moyu muttered to himself.
I just don't know if Withering and Flourishing Elder came this time as an avatar or in his main body.
Withering and Flourishing Elder had 3 avatars. The Wild Grass avatar had no combat power used to monitor the world. The Vine avatar had strong combat power, reaching the peak of 9th level Dao Venerable, even slightly surpassing it, but it had been destroyed by the Heavenly Emperor. Another avatar named Thorn was said by the Beast Emperor to be slightly stronger than the Vine avatar. As for the previous Icefire Seed, it couldn't really be considered Withering and Flourishing Elder's true avatar. If an avatar came, Lin Moyu felt he could still handle it. What he feared was Withering and Flourishing Elder's main body coming. That would really give him a headache. But no matter what, he still had to do what needed to be done. Without another word, Lin Moyu put Little Mei into the rules world again, while spreading his wings of time and evolving his space Great Dao true body. The wings of time vibrated frantically, forming space-time power. Relying on space-time power, Lin Moyu's speed increased to the limit as he flew towards the Buddhist clan's direction. His speed was very fast, like teleportation. Withering and Flourishing Elder had sealed off space, but he couldn't seal off Lin Moyu, who had comprehended the space Great Dao. At the same time, Lin Moyu took out the Beast Emperor flower and directly activated it, transmitting to the Beast Emperor.
I'm in Netherworld race territory. Withering and Flourishing Elder is hunting me.
The transmission was simple and clear, without any unnecessary words. Lin Moyu knew time was limited. If Withering and Flourishing Elder's main body had come, he would certainly discover his actions. Perhaps in the next second, the Beast Emperor flower would lose effect. Sure enough, an invisible force fell, sealing space even more tightly. Lin Moyu was also slightly affected, but could still continue flying. However, the Beast Emperor flower lost its effect, affected and unable to contact the Beast Emperor again. Seeing this, Lin Moyu's heart trembled.
It seems Withering and Flourishing Elder's main body has come this time. This is trouble.
It was normal thinking about it. His avatar had failed once before. To ensure success this time, the main body would likely take action. Moreover, this was the Western continent, strictly speaking Withering and Flourishing Elder's territory. Here, his main body could act without restraint. Anyway, the message had been sent out. Whether the Beast Emperor could receive it, whether he would come, when he could arrive, these weren't things he could control. What he needed to do now was delay as much as possible. The longer he delayed, the more advantageous for him. In the blink of an eye, Lin Moyu had flown an immense distance, but the spatial seal grew stronger and stronger. The power sealing space came from the wild grass on the ground. Lin Moyu finally understood that though the wild grass avatar didn't have much combat power, it had spatial abilities. It was precisely with these spatial abilities that wild grass could become Withering and Flourishing Elder's eyes and ears, monitoring the world.
I can't just wait for death.
Lin Moyu's mind stirred. The lightning lich appeared on his shoulder. 10 drops of ancestor water fell on the lightning lich, while vast belief power burned fiercely. The lightning Great Dao emerged, enveloping the lightning lich. For a moment, the lightning lich flashed with lightning and roared with thunder, its aura rising to the extreme, infinitely close to 9th level Dao Venerable. One could foresee that the next attack would be the lightning lich's strongest strike since its appearance. The wild grass avatar had sealed off space, but this also gave Lin Moyu a chance to lock onto it. A trace of the destiny Great Dao fell, following the sealed space to complete the Great Dao enemy lock. The lightning Great Dao rumbled, following Lin Moyu's will. Along the Great Dao enemy lock, the lightning lich launched chain lightning. Lightning exploded. The world was like a huge curtain, torn open by lightning into a terrifying rift. On the ground, lightning exploded. In an instant, the entire Netherworld race's land lit up. Countless wild grasses withered in the lightning, turning to ash. Chain lightning fully erupted, using the connections between the wild grasses to instantly strike every blade of wild grass. The lightning spread towards the distance, its speed shockingly fast, extending in the direction of the 100 Herbs Alliance. There were too many wild grasses. Chain lightning would seek out every blade of wild grass, sparing none. Lin Moyu didn't know the limits of chain lightning, how far it could attack, or how many targets it could hit at most. But he could be certain that after this strike, Withering and Flourishing Elder's wild grass avatar would surely be damaged. Large amounts of wild grass were destroyed. The power of the spatial seal rapidly weakened. Lin Moyu's speed suddenly increased. He activated the Beast Emperor Flower again. The Beast Emperor's voice came from the Beast Emperor Flower.
This Emperor is already on the way. I'll arrive in an hour. Hold on.
From the northern continent to the western continent, even if the Beast Emperor traveled at full speed, it would take at least an hour. In other words, Lin Moyu needed to hold on for at least an hour. But whether he could last an hour, Lin Moyu wasn't sure. He could only try his best.
All right, I'll do my best.
Lin Moyu shouted softly, flying towards an even more distant place. Behind him, vast pressure like black clouds swept over. Chapter 3301. I should have sent the Thorn Avatar. The terrifying pressure made it hard to breathe. Lin Moyu could clearly sense Withering and Flourishing Elder's anger, both old anger and new fury. Amidst the anger was also intense killing intent.
It seems the damage Chain Lightning did to the wild grass avatar was even more severe than imagined.
Chain Lightning had already struck towards the distance, entering 100 Herbs Alliance territory. Lin Moyu wasn't sure exactly how much damage the wild grass avatar had suffered, but he could be certain the damage wasn't small. At least all the wild grass in Netherworld race territory had been destroyed by the lightning, not a single blade remaining. At the same time, the wild grass avatar had also completed its mission, causing some impact on him and buying time for Withering and Flourishing Elder. Lin Moyu knew that in terms of speed, he couldn't possibly outpace Withering and Flourishing Elder. Even if he used all his strength and employed spacetime power, he still couldn't match Withering and Flourishing Elder. This was the unbridgeable gap between Dao Venerable and Great Dao realms. Now he could only try to delay as much as possible. He now had 2 Great Dao immortality pills left. With them, he could delay for 20 minutes. So the key issue was to delay for the remaining 40 minutes. The longer the better, of course. If he could delay even longer, he could save the Great Dao immortality pills. Suddenly, Lin Moyu had a flash of inspiration and thought of a method. He abruptly turned around, reversing direction to fly towards the 100 Herbs Alliance. Withering and Flourishing Elder, who was chasing, was clearly stunned for a moment. He didn't understand why Lin Moyu suddenly reversed direction, actually flying towards his headquarters. This was no different from seeking death. In this moment of surprise, the distance between him and Lin Moyu instantly widened considerably, causing him to miss the opportunity to attack.
You're seeking death.
Withering and Flourishing Elder shouted angrily, speeding up again to give chase. Lin Moyu increased his speed to the limit, recklessly charging straight towards the 100 Herbs Alliance, towards Withering and Flourishing Elder's headquarters. The Netherworld race's territory wasn't large. At full speed, Lin Moyu would enter 100 Herbs Alliance territory in just a few minutes. Suddenly a strange scent entered his nose. The scent was very faint. Others might not have noticed it at all. The scent carried a fresh fragrance, giving one a feeling of carefree delight. But Lin Moyu realized something was wrong and instantly stopped breathing. Though he stopped breathing, he could still smell the scent. It wasn't smelled by his physical body, but by his soul. Just 10 seconds later, Lin Moyu suddenly felt dizzy. His soul became groggy. His whole being felt drowsy. His speed suddenly slowed, further shortening the distance between him and Withering and Flourishing Elder.
Poisoned? Or cursed?
The 100 Herbs Alliance had plant poisons and myriad grass curses. Either one was very troublesome. Lin Moyu couldn't tell for the moment if he had been poisoned or cursed. He was immune to the vast majority of poisons and curses. He had the origin-level technique, immunity, which was very powerful. So Lin Moyu had never been troubled by poison or curses. Poisons and curses that could affect him should have transcended the Dao Venerable realm. Lin Moyu's mind stirred. The 11-colored dragon soul crystal immediately emitted a dragon roar, then breathed out dragon breath to envelop his soul. In the dragon soul crystal's dragon breath, whether poison or curse, all were purified. His consciousness instantly cleared.
Oh?
A clear sound of surprise came. Withering and Flourishing Elder was obviously very shocked that Lin Moyu was unaffected. Despite his surprise, Withering and Flourishing Elder's speed didn't slow at all. He continued closing the distance with Lin Moyu. The distance between them was now close enough for Withering and Flourishing Elder to attack. But to be absolutely certain, Withering and Flourishing Elder didn't attack immediately. Having dealt with Lin Moyu a few times, he knew Lin Moyu was very troublesome. Lin Moyu said softly,
"It's only polite to reciprocate."
With a thought, the undead army mobilized. Space distorted greatly as 10 million skeleton generals appeared in midair, forming a dense sea of skeletons charging madly towards Withering and Flourishing Elder. Withering and Flourishing Elder didn't care at all about the mere 5th-level Dao Venerable skeleton generals. He passed through the gaps between the skeleton generals like an arrow. Wherever he passed, countless skeleton generals turned to dust, dying on the spot. There were so many skeleton generals that all Withering and Flourishing Elder could see were skeleton generals, nothing else. With his vision blocked by skeleton generals, if he hadn't still been locked onto Lin Moyu, he would probably have lost direction.
How can there be so many?
Withering and Flourishing Elder muttered inwardly. He had already chased quite a distance and killed vast numbers of skeleton generals, but there were still skeleton generals before him. The skeleton generals seemed endless, impossible to kill them all. Just as Withering and Flourishing Elder was getting a bit irritated, he suddenly lost his lock on Lin Moyu. The Great Dao enemy lock was broken, shocking Withering and Flourishing Elder immensely. Breaking a Great Dao enemy lock wasn't something an ordinary person could do. Even he couldn't easily accomplish it. Lin Moyu was only at 4th level Dao Venerable, yet he could break his Great Dao enemy lock. Being able to break a Great Dao enemy lock now, who knew what level Lin Moyu could reach in the future?
This boy absolutely cannot be allowed to live.
Withering and Flourishing Elder snorted angrily, his killing intent growing stronger. He stopped and shouted angrily,
10,000 flower kill.
Countless flowers flew out from his body in all directions. After flying out, the flowers rapidly enlarged, quickly becoming all-encompassing. Wherever they went, no skeleton general escaped being crushed. This technique was incredibly powerful. Skeleton generals within a radius of tens of thousands of meters were instantly swept clean, casualties beyond counting. Withering and Flourishing Elder's gaze swept around and saw Lin Moyu in the distance. The distance between them had widened again, his previous efforts wasted. But Lin Moyu's direction hadn't changed. He was still heading towards the 100 Herbs Alliance, not taking the opportunity to flee elsewhere.
What is this fellow trying to do?
Withering and Flourishing Elder gave chase again, but was somewhat puzzled. Normally, after breaking his Great Dao enemy lock, Lin Moyu should have fled elsewhere while his vision was blocked. But now, Lin Moyu was running towards the 100 Herbs Alliance, which was clearly odd. From what he knew of Lin Moyu absolutely wouldn't do something foolish. There must be some reason. Withering and Flourishing Elder stared intently at Lin Moyu, completing another Great Dao enemy lock. He only needed an instant to complete a Great Dao enemy lock, but Lin Moyu needed some time to break it. Withering and Flourishing Elder chased while pondering what Lin Moyu was trying to do. But no matter how he thought about it, he couldn't figure out what Lin Moyu was planning. His vision darkened as vast numbers of skeleton generals appeared again, surging over in overwhelming numbers. Withering and Flourishing Elder had a headache. These skeleton generals posed no threat to him at all, but they could greatly affect his speed.
I should have sent the Thorn Avatar.
Withering and Flourishing Elder had come in a hurry. The Thorn Avatar wasn't with him. Otherwise, the Thorn Avatar could have dealt with these skeletons. He ignored the skeleton generals and continued chasing Lin Moyu, closing the distance between them. But just 2 minutes later, Lin Moyu broke the Great Dao enemy lock again. Withering and Flourishing Elder's vision was blocked by skeleton generals again. Afraid Lin Moyu would flee elsewhere, he had to clear out the skeleton generals first. The distance between them widened again. This repeated over and over as Lin Moyu got closer and closer to the 100 Herbs Alliance. Chapter 3302. No matter what, I must kill you today. Withering and Flourishing Elder was about to die of anger as he watched helplessly as Lin Moyu escaped into the 100 Herbs Alliance, into his own headquarters.
What on earth is he trying to do?
Though angry, he also wouldn't let Lin Moyu continue escaping like this. Otherwise, it would be endless, and he'd never be able to catch Lin Moyu. Now the Thorn Avatar was already on the way and would arrive soon. And nearby 100 Herbs Alliance members had also received his orders and were rushing over. Suddenly Lin Moyu's voice sounded in his ear.
Withering and Flourishing Elder, do you know why I'm jumping into your lair? How do you think you'll feel if I cause some destruction in your lair?
Withering and Flourishing Elder's brow, like old tree bark, suddenly furrowed. He finally realized what Lin Moyu was planning to do. A cold smile appeared on his wrinkled face.
Do you think this can threaten me? With your abilities, how much damage can you really do? You're certainly troublesome, but no matter what, you're still only 4th level Dao Venerable. Now that you've entered my territory today, don't think you can leave alive.
Lin Moyu chuckled.
Let's just see.
As the words fell, the surrounding space began to distort continuously. Dense, endless skeleton generals flew out. Besides skeleton generals, there were also legion commanders. Each legion commander summoned their dragon rider legions. Lin Moyu released all 10,000 legion commanders, summoning a total of 100 billion dragon rider legions. There were the same number of skeleton generals, totaling 100 billion. After appearing, they rapidly spread in all directions, attacking as they flew. In an instant, the originally beautiful environment of the 100 Herbs Alliance was devastated. Lin Moyu's wings of time suddenly changed, with the curse wings joining to form the complete time curse wings. The time curse wings vibrated non-stop, scattering endless curses. This time the curses were all death curses, carrying the power of death. With Lin Moyu's current realm, those below Dao Venerable realm couldn't withstand his curse power. Under the curses, whether living beings or the earth, all rapidly withered and decayed. At this moment, Withering and Flourishing Elder finally understood what Lin Moyu was trying to do. Though the scattered skeleton generals and undead army weren't high in realm, there were no small number of 100 Herbs Alliance members who could deal with them. But their numbers were simply too many, so many it was shocking, even terrifying. Even Withering and Flourishing Elder had never seen an army of this scale before. Once the undead army scattered, even he would need a lot of time to clean them all up. During this time, who knew how much his territory would be destroyed?
Riddled with holes.
Might be too mild a description. Turning into ruins or becoming a wasteland would be normal. Even if he could kill Lin Moyu in the end, so what? His lair would definitely be destroyed. At this moment, Withering and Flourishing Elder's mood was extremely complex. He began to regret a bit that he shouldn't have provoked Lin Moyu. Though Lin Moyu had ruined his plans of many years in the Icefire secret realm, that was actually just each side making their own calculations. Normally, he should have accepted the loss. If that were the case, things wouldn't have become like this. He suddenly understood somewhat why the Beast Emperor had taken a friendly attitude towards Lin Moyu. And when the Beast Emperor first came, he had also advised making peace with Lin Moyu. But he hadn't accepted, because he couldn't swallow his anger. His plans of many years had been ruined by a mere small Dao Venerable. How could he swallow that anger? But looking back, if he had known Lin Moyu would be so troublesome, perhaps he would have endured for a while. But now it was too late to say anything. Now to let Lin Moyu go, where would he put his old face? Letting Lin Moyu go was absolutely impossible. Withering and Flourishing Elder laughed, his voice ice-cold.
If the 100 Herbs Alliance is destroyed, I can rebuild it. But today I must kill you. Great Dao Realm, caring about face even when dying.
Lin Moyu cursed inwardly, then said softly,
Territory can be rebuilt if lost, but what if all the people die?
Withering and Flourishing Elder sneered.
Though your things are numerous, their realm is too low. They can only kill those of low realms. Those people can recover in not too many years.
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Who says I can only kill those of low realms?
At this moment, an 8th-level Dao venerable plant-based life form rushed over. It was a large rock covered in moss. The moss was this being's true form. It was closest to here and had rushed over immediately upon receiving Withering and Flourishing Elder's order. Withering and Flourishing Elder shouted,
Stop him!
The moss life form immediately charged towards Lin Moyu. The huge rock was over 100 meters tall, smashing over like a small mountain. Lin Moyu's expression didn't change. The space beside him distorted as Supu appeared out of thin air. With the cloud-piercing sword in hand, Supu swung the sword. The small mountain was engulfed by sword light, turning to dust. Within the sword light, the moss life form died on the spot. However, a point of light flew out. It didn't fly into the distance, but fell into Withering and Flourishing Elder's hand.
Spirit Plant Rebirth.
The Dao Venerables of the 100 Herbs Alliance all possessed the Spirit Plant Rebirth ability. After death, they didn't truly die, but would turn into a seed and escape back. Then 100 Herbs Alliance people would come find the seed and bring it back. Now, with Withering and Flourishing Elder here, the seed naturally flew to his hand. Withering and Flourishing Elder sneered.
You can't kill them. In not too many years, I can restore them to their original state. I forgot about Spirit Plant Rebirth.
Lin Moyu had a headache. His plan needed to change. Even if he used Corpse Explosion to blow up a 9th-level Dao Venerable, he couldn't continue. Because of Spirit Plant Rebirth, those blown up weren't truly dead. He could only blow them up once.
Since that's the case, then I'll have to offend you.
Lin Moyu's mind stirred. The undead army he had released immediately began attacking various lifeforms in the 100 Herbs Alliance. The undead army specifically targeted low-realm Dao Venerables, not touching those below Dao Venerable realm. At this time, the 200 billion undead troops had already spread out very widely, covering a large area of 100 Herbs Alliance territory under their feet. Possessing the undead eye, no Dao Venerable could escape their eyes. For a time, large numbers of seeds flew over from all directions, all flying towards Withering and Flourishing Elder. Withering and Flourishing Elder was so angry his beard bristled.
You deserve to die.
Lin Moyu said coldly,
I'm not killing Bo-Rin, but Bo-Rin is dying because of you. All this karma will be recorded on your head. It's because of you that they are dying for no reason. The karma is heavy. You'll have a lot to repay in the future.
Lin Moyu's voice was like a curse, each word striking Withering and Flourishing Elder's soul. Withering and Flourishing Elder shouted angrily,
Fine, fine, fine. I'll accept all this karma. No matter what, I must send you off today.
He was determined to kill Lin Moyu today. The two had completely fallen out with no room for reconciliation. Lin Moyu had roughly grasped Withering and Flourishing Elder's personality. He was an extremely grudge-holding villain. If he couldn't thoroughly frighten him this time, the future troubles would likely be endless. The killing intent in Lin Moyu's heart was also rising. Now he knew he still couldn't kill Withering and Flourishing Elder, but if he had the chance in the future, he must kill him. A black shadow appeared ahead. A huge red ball covered in spikes smashed towards them. The ball was hundreds of meters in diameter, coming with the momentum of a collapsing mountain. As it pounced over, it was accompanied by a great Dao enemy lock, impossible to dodge. Supu was the first to attack, raising the cloud-piercing sword and charging out. Boom! Supu's figure was sent flying back. The huge ball only paused slightly, its momentum undiminished. In terms of power, Supu had been utterly defeated. Chapter 3303. Escaped another crisis.
The Thorn Avatar.
Lin Moyu understood in his heart. He knew this was Withering and Flourishing Elder's third avatar, also the last publicly known avatar. As for whether Withering and Flourishing Elder had any hidden avatars, no one knew. Just like the Icefire Seed, Even the Beast Emperor and 3 ancestors didn't know Withering and Flourishing Elder had such an avatar. In one collision, Su Pu was defeated in strength by the Thorn Avatar, but after Su Pu's obstruction, the Thorn Avatar's speed also decreased considerably. The Thorn Avatar suddenly expanded, its huge body turning into a giant net covered in spikes, enveloping the entire world within it, completely cutting off Lin Moyu's path forward. It didn't bother with Su Pu at all, aiming directly at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu wasn't afraid of it, but was considering how to deal with it. Using Corpse Explosion could indeed severely injure it instantly, but might not be able to kill it. Withering and Flourishing Elders' avatars were different from ordinary 9th level Dao Venerables, with much stronger vitality. Lin Moyu had already experienced the former Vine avatar. Using the Great Dao Immortality Pill, then using Gather Power to raise his realm to 9th level Dao Venerable, he could also fight it. But that would expose his origin technique. At that time, Withering and Flourishing Elder would likely spare no cost to kill him. Now he wasn't confident he could kill Withering and Flourishing Elder, so it was better not to expose himself. Neither method was ideal, and now wasn't the time to fight to the death.
Try the skeleton hell.
Lin Moyu's mind stirred, and he pointed his finger. In an instant, the world changed color, turning black and red. The skeleton hell appeared in the world, surrounding the thorn in reverse. Countless hell fiends rushed out, pouncing on the thorn. The hell fiends didn't care about life or death, biting as soon as they pounced on the thorn, instantly getting riddled with holes from the thorns. But they didn't care at all. The hell fiends were extremely vicious, biting down again and again. Though they couldn't bite through much, they kept biting relentlessly. Accompanied by a dragon's roar, the new Netherworld Black Dragon, Heyu, burst out of the Netherworld Black Pool. Its huge dragon head spewed out a breath of dragon fire, falling on the thorn, then its entire head rammed into it. With a huge boom, Heyu was knocked back, several scales on its head broken. But the thorn avatar wasn't faring well either. The huge force made it contract involuntarily, its range instantly shrinking. At the same time, the burning and corrosion from the dragon breath made it very uncomfortable. The hell's eye opened, sweeping over with a soul attack. Spider lilies bloomed simultaneously, weakening its power. At this time Su Pu attacked again, raising the cloud-piercing sword and slashing down. The cloud-piercing sword glowed brightly. The sword spirit within let out a crisp shout, the sword's aura rising sharply, amplifying Su Pu's power. As the sword light fell, a gap was instantly cut in the thorn avatar. Lin Moyu seized this moment to pass through the gap, continuing to fly towards the distance. Withering and Flourishing Elder experienced again how troublesome Lin Moyu was. He was a mighty Great Dao realm powerhouse. Even if he could only use 30% of his power, he was still Great Dao realm. Let alone a 4th level Dao Venerable like Lin Moyu, even a 9th level Dao Venerable could be killed casually by him. But now, after chasing and killing all this way, Lin Moyu had escaped again and again. Not only that, his territory was suffering a great massacre. Dao Venerables below 5th level kept dying, seeds constantly flying to his hand. Lin Moyu's subordinates were too numerous, killing too quickly. If this continued, all his subordinates would die. Though Spirit Plant Rebirth could revive them, that also required a lot of time. Within a certain period, the number of times Spirit Plant Rebirth could be used was limited. Withering and Flourishing Elder was thoroughly enraged. If this continued, the 100 Herbs Alliance would be severely weakened, difficult to recover for at least 10,000 years. Even the Thorn Avatar couldn't stop Lin Moyu. Withering and Flourishing Elder hardened his heart, knowing he couldn't drag this out any longer. A towering great tree appeared behind Withering and Flourishing Elder, with a great Dao entwined around it. Withering and Flourishing Elder revealed his true form. Though it was only a projection of his true form, it already caused the world to change for tens of thousands of miles around. Thunder roared, countless lightning bolts fell. The power of the great Dao poured down, as if warning Withering and Flourishing Elder not to do this. The power Withering and Flourishing Elder was using now had reached the limit of the origin continent. If he used any more, he would suffer punishment from the Great Tao. Lin Moyu saw the projection and only then knew Withering and Flourishing Elder's main body was a great tree. This tree had dense branches and leaves, blocking out the sky, incredibly vast. Lin Moyu wasn't surprised at all. He judged at a glance that Withering and Flourishing Elder's main body wasn't as good as his world tree. In Withering and Flourishing Elder's main body projection, the tree trunk could be divided into silver and green colors. At this time, several silver branches suddenly broke off, falling from the tree. The fallen branches exploded on the spot, turning into countless segments. Then each segment evolved into an arrow. A vast sea of arrows appeared in the world, like a huge net, densely shooting towards Lin Moyu. The world shook and space shattered. The power of the Great Tao surged wildly. Withering and Flourishing Elder's attack was too strong. Each arrow was enough to kill a 9th-level Tao Venerable. This attack had already touched the edge of Great Tao punishment. If it exceeded even a bit more, the Heavenly Tao would certainly bring down punishment. If the Great Tao brought down punishment, Withering and Flourishing Elder might not even be able to stay on the origin continent. Lin Moyu and Withering and Flourishing Elder both knew this clearly. Lin Moyu knew even more that Withering and Flourishing Elder had used all the power he could use, determined to kill him. Countless arrows pierced through the void, turning into a huge net sweeping towards him. He had nowhere to escape. Even if he were a pseudo-Great Tao realm being, he would likely die facing such an attack. Lin Moyu realized that Withering and Flourishing Elder couldn't casually use this attack either. He would likely have to pay some price. He threw the Great Tao Immortality Pill in his hand into his mouth. The Great Tao Immortality Pill he had prepared for so long, if not used now, when the Great Tao Immortality Pill took effect instantly. Lin Moyu knew he had entered an undying state. In this state, he could gain 10 minutes of immortal time. The Great Tao Immortality Pill contained the power of the Great Tao. As long as the attack didn't surpass the Great Tao Immortality Pill would be effective. Withering and Flourishing Elder was at the Great Tao realm. If he used his full power, he might truly be able to break through the Great Tao Immortality Pill. But now he could only use 30% of his power, so the Great Tao Immortality Pill would certainly be effective. This wasn't Lin Moyu's guess, but what the three ancestors had personally said. However, the stronger the attack endured, the shorter the time of the Great Tao Immortality Pill would be. At the same time, Lin Moyu used the power Great Tao to employ the Undying Golden Body, raising his defense as much as possible to reduce the burden on the Great Tao Immortality Pill. He didn't use his origin technique. Lin Moyu didn't use Gather Power to raise his realm, because he didn't want to further provoke Withering and Flourishing Elder. Moreover, now wasn't the time to use origin techniques. Lin Moyu knew when to use them. When he used origin techniques would be when he truly intended to kill Withering and Flourishing Elder. Before he was certain, Lin Moyu wouldn't act. The arrows pierced Lin Moyu's body. The huge force sent Lin Moyu flying horizontally. Lin Moyu didn't resist the force of the arrows, but instead used the arrow's force to rapidly distance himself. It looked as if Lin Moyu had suddenly accelerated sharply, getting further and further from Withering and Flourishing Elder. This result was within Lin Moyu's expectations. Even the entire process was under his control. Which arrow to be hit by, which direction the force would transfer, how to borrow the force. Lin Moyu had calculated it all. Chapter 3304. Heavenly Punishment Fire, the Great Tao's Bottom Line. Withering and Flourishing Elder stared blankly at this scene, realizing Lin Moyu hadn't died at all, or even been injured. Not only that, he had even used his attack to escape faster and further. The next second he reacted, roaring in anger.
Great Tao Immortality Pill! The three ancestors!
Only the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce had Great Tao Immortality Pills, and ordinary people couldn't buy them at all. Lin Moyu's Great Tao Immortality Pill was most likely bought from the three ancestors. Previously, the Beast Emperor had come to cause trouble for him on Lin Moyu's behalf, so it was normal for Lin Moyu to have some relationship with the three ancestors. Withering and Flourishing Elder's anger rose as he gave chase again.
Let's see how many Great Tao Immortality Pills you have.
By now Lin Moyu had opened up some distance from Withering and Flourishing Elder. The distance between them exceeded 1,000 miles, the furthest they had been since Withering and Flourishing Elder began the chase. Lin Moyu kept buying time for himself.
That last attack shortened the Great Tao Immortality Pill's time by at least a third. Now only 6 minutes remain. I have one more Great Tao Immortality Pill, but ideally it can only last 10 minutes. Added together that's at most 16 minutes. To be safe, let's count it as 10 minutes. It's about 20 more minutes until the Beast Emperor arrives. That means I need to hold on for at least 20 minutes.
Holding on for 20 minutes under a Great Tao Realm being's pursuit, without using his true trump cards, one can imagine how difficult that would be. Lin Moyu's thoughts raced as he considered how to proceed. Suddenly, an immense aura came from behind again. His spiritual sense warned him. Withering and Flourishing Elder once more manifested his true body's projection, breaking off a branch that turned into countless dense arrows sweeping towards Lin Moyu. Withering and Flourishing Elder said with killing intent,
"Let's see how many times you can block."
He also clearly understood the effects of the Great Tao Immortality Pill. As long as it received attacks, the pill's duration would decrease rapidly. Seeing the arrows filling the sky, Lin Moyu's gaze sharpened. He thought of a method. Though not clever, it might be effective. If it didn't work, he could still rely on the Great Tao Immortality Pill to endure. He wouldn't lose anything. One battle beast after another appeared behind him, meeting the arrows in Lin Moyu's place. The battle beasts were 7th level Tao Venerable. Facing Withering and Flourishing Elder's arrows, they had no resistance. The arrows instantly pierced through the battle beasts' bodies. Then, with a thunderous roar, a series of brilliant explosions erupted in the air. As reborn beings, they would instantly self-destruct upon death. The battle beasts had 7th level Tao Venerable combat power. When they self-destructed, the power they released was comparable to 8th level Tao Venerable. It was equivalent to over 100 8th level Tao Venerables attacking with all their might, disregarding their lives. Though they couldn't stop the arrows, they did slow them slightly and cause a slight deviation in direction. And the dazzling explosions blocked vision for an instant. In the moment the explosions occurred, Lin Moyu once again broke Withering and Flourishing Elder's lock on him. As he broke the lock, space distorted. Lin Moyu released vast numbers of skeleton generals, blocking Withering and Flourishing Elder's vision like they were covering the sky. Withering and Flourishing Elder was stunned again. With the Great Tao enemy lock broken, the arrows instantly lost their target. The vast numbers of skeleton generals blocked his vision, preventing him from locking onto Lin Moyu again. And in the battle beast's self-destruction, accuracy was lost. In an instant, the arrows flew in different directions. The arrow's speed was extremely fast. Some arrows shot into the ground, instantly overturning the earth. How strong was 30% of a Great Tao Realm being's power? One arrow was enough to overturn thousands of miles of land. One terrifying hole after another appeared. The entire western continent shook. Even more violent rumblings sounded in the sky. The Great Tao seemed angry. Terrifyingly powerful flames appeared in the sky, as if they might fall at any moment to punish Withering and Flourishing Elder. Destroying the origin continent seemed to have exceeded the Great Tao's tolerance. Lin Moyu was inwardly delighted.
As expected, the Great Tao allows some Great Tao realm beings to remain on the origin continent, but absolutely won't allow Great Tao realm beings to damage the origin continent. The 4 remaining continents can be said to be the Great Tao's bottom line.
Lin Moyu realized his idea was correct. When Withering and Flourishing Elder used his full power to attack, though it was a threat, it was also an opportunity for him. If he had a way to guide Withering and Flourishing Elder's attacks to damage the origin continent, then the Great Tao would naturally bring down punishment. Seeing the flames that suddenly appeared in the sky, Lin Moyu felt his heart pounding. Not just him, even a Great Tao realm being like Withering and Flourishing Elder's face changed greatly when he saw the flames. This was heavenly punishment fire, the thing all cultivators feared most. All cultivators had to endure the trial of heavenly punishment fire when breaking through to Tao Venerable and entering the Great Tao realm. But that was just a trial. The power of true heavenly punishment fire was far beyond that. Burning a great Tao realm being to death wasn't very difficult.
Heavenly punishment fire is indeed somewhat similar to my world-burning fire. That being in the soul void mistook world-burning fire for great Tao essence fire. That means the great Tao essence fire he mentioned is also very similar to heavenly punishment fire. Three such similar fires, what exactly are the differences? Or are they the same thing?
While pondering this, Lin Moyu's speed didn't decrease at all. He continued fleeing at top speed. Withering and Flourishing Elder also didn't stop because of the heavenly punishment fire's appearance. He knew the heavenly punishment fire was just giving him a warning now and hadn't truly fallen. If he damaged the origin continent again like before, the heavenly punishment fire would truly descend. Then he'd be in big trouble. Not only would he be unable to stay on the origin continent, perhaps even his foundation would be affected. However, all of this was thanks to Lin Moyu. He had no intention of letting Lin Moyu go. On the contrary, his determination to kill Lin Moyu was even firmer, and the opportunity was not far away. Lin Moyu felt Withering and Flourishing Elder lock onto him again. He quickly sought the location of the lock. After finding it, he didn't rush to break it immediately. Even breaking the lock required choosing the right moment. Withering and Flourishing Elder said nothing. The distance between them was closing. Using the previous method, Lin Moyu was about to release skeleton generals to block vision and break the lock, forcing Withering and Flourishing Elder to clear away the skeleton generals before continuing the chase. This time, it seemed no different on the surface. Just as Lin Moyu was about to release the skeleton generals, his expression suddenly changed slightly. Several powerful auras appeared simultaneously, instantly locking down the area. The undead I swept over, seeing 10 huge soul flames. The 9th level Tao venerable experts of the 100 Herbs Alliance had arrived, a full 10 of them, from sky to ground, completely blocking his path forward. Lin Moyu naturally wasn't afraid of 9th level Tao venerables. However, if they wanted to entangle him, it would take time to shake them off. In this situation, even a delay of 1 or 2 seconds would allow Withering and Flourishing Elder to catch up and kill him.
I told you, you can't escape.
Withering and Flourishing Elder's voice, full of killing intent, entered his ears. Lin Moyu inwardly laughed coldly.
That remains to be seen.
He chose a target. His time curse wings vibrated violently as he charged forward without hesitation. His chosen target was a flower-shaped 9th level Tao venerable. The flower was covered in thorns. It was a man-eating flower. Chapter 3305. Withering and Flourishing Elder begins to speak incoherently. Lin Moyu chose a 9th level Tao venerable in the shape of a man-eating flower. He didn't know its name or exactly what type it was. The only reason he chose it was because of its flower-like shape. Lin Moyu vibrated his time curse wings, charging directly at it at an astonishing speed. A dense green mist appeared in his vision as the man-eating flower Tao venerable spewed out a mouth of poisonous fog towards Lin Moyu. The dense green mist carried a deadly poison. Even space cracked within the mist, the poison could corrode even space itself. Even other 9th level Tao venerables would fear and avoid this type of poison. But Lin Moyu didn't dodge or evade, heading straight into the mist. Relying on the great Tao immortality pill, the dense green mist couldn't harm him at all. Passing through the mist like lightning, Lin Moyu crashed headlong into the man-eating flower Tao venerable's body.
Seeking death.
The flower was its mouth. The man-eating flower Tao venerable instinctively closed its mouth, while countless spikes grew inside to impale Lin Moyu. Inside the flower, the poison was even more concentrated. Combined with the terrifying spikes, it was enough to kill a 9th level Tao venerable. Seeing this scene, the other 9th level Tao venerables all thought Lin Moyu was surely dead. Even Withering and Flourishing Elder had the same thought for an instant. The man-eating flower Tao venerable's true terror lay in the deadly poison and spikes inside its body. Even with the great Tao immortality pill's protection, Lin Moyu shouldn't be able to last long. But vaguely he felt something was off. Sure enough, with a huge boom, the back of the man-eating flower Dao Venerable suddenly exploded. A huge hole was blasted in the giant flower, and Lin Moyu flew out through the hole, continuing to fly towards the distance without stopping for a moment. Only after Lin Moyu had flown far away did the man-eating flower Dao Venerable let out a miserable cry. Its body had actually been pierced through. Not only was its body pierced, but its soul had also been severely damaged. The other Dao Venerables looked at each other in dismay. The man-eating flower Dao Venerable was a 9th-level Dao Venerable after all, with an incredibly sturdy body. How could it be pierced through so easily? No one knew how Lin Moyu had done it. Even Withering and Flourishing Elder didn't know how Lin Moyu had accomplished this. Lin Moyu had broken through their net, escaping once again. Withering and Flourishing Elder was about to explode with anger. He wanted to attack again, but looking at the heavenly punishment fire in the sky, he had to forcibly hold back. He continued chasing Lin Moyu, his old eyes locking firmly onto Lin Moyu. If looks could kill, Lin Moyu would have died thousands of times. At this moment, light flickered on Lin Moyu's body. The effects of this great Dao immortality pill were about to end. The man-eating flower Dao Venerable's obstruction had still consumed part of the great Dao immortality pill's power. When Lin Moyu had charged into the man-eating flower Dao Venerable's body, he had used the Calamity Scepter to directly smash open a passage. This was also why he had chosen the man-eating flower Dao Venerable. He didn't want Withering and Flourishing Elder to see the Calamity Scepter. Lin Moyu felt the power of the great Dao immortality pill, calculating the time in his mind.
The last great Dao immortality pill, better not use it if possible. Even if I have to use it with no other option, it still won't be enough to last until the Beast Emperor arrives. Besides the great Dao immortality pill, there must be another way.
Lin Moyu felt the conditions were too harsh. Trying to hold on until the Beast Emperor arrived without exposing too many trump cards was extremely difficult. Perhaps in the end, when his life was truly in danger, he would have to use his trump cards. But which one to use was worth considering. Lin Moyu's thoughts raced, flashing back to what had just happened. Looking again at the heavenly punishment fire in the sky that could fall at any moment, an idea formed in his mind.
Some trump cards may truly need to be exposed. If successful, not only could I hold on until the Beast Emperor arrives, I could also teach Withering and Flourishing Elder a lesson. He's been chasing and trying to kill me for so long. He should receive some punishment and pay a price. The key is to see how the great Dao will calculate it.
Thinking this, Lin Moyu's flight altitude suddenly dropped, rapidly descending from 10,000 meters high to 100 meters. As Lin Moyu's altitude lowered, Withering and Flourishing Elder also descended with him. Descending along with Withering and Flourishing Elder were the 9th level Dao Venerables following in pursuit. Though their speed wasn't as fast as Withering and Flourishing Elders, they were still somewhat faster than Lin Moyu. Just before the great Dao immortality pill's power was about to disappear, space suddenly distorted violently. Vast numbers of skeleton generals appeared, blocking out the sky and obstructing Withering and Flourishing Elders' vision. This time the number of skeleton generals was shockingly high, exceeding 10 billion. No one could see Lin Moyu behind the skeleton generals. At the same time, Withering and Flourishing Elder found his great Dao enemy lock broken again.
This trick again.
Withering and Flourishing Elder shouted angrily. He was no longer surprised by Lin Moyu's actions. Afraid Lin Moyu would take the chance to change direction and escape, he waved his hand, launching attacks to blast a path through the skeleton generals. In an instant, vast numbers of skeleton generals died. Facing Withering and Flourishing Elders' attacks, the skeleton generals died as soon as they were touched, with no chance of survival. Suddenly, Withering and Flourishing Elders' brow furrowed. Extremely violent explosions suddenly occurred among the skeleton generals. The explosions were deafening. Each explosion was like a full power strike from an 8th level Dao Venerable. Now less than 100 meters from the ground, the earth was violently overturned. Though the power was far less than Withering and Flourishing Elders, it made up for it in sheer numbers. Explosion after explosion, dozens in succession. Thousands of miles of land were completely changed. Lin Moyu had mixed large numbers of battle beasts among the skeleton generals. When Withering and Flourishing Elder cleared away the skeleton generals, he killed the battle beasts, triggering their self-destruction. Withering and Flourishing Elder's brow furrowed tightly. He didn't understand Lin Moyu's intentions in doing this. If he wanted to destroy his territory, it didn't seem necessary to do this. Suddenly, a rumbling came from the sky. Withering and Flourishing Elder's face changed drastically. A ball of flames fell from the sky. An invisible force locked onto Withering and Flourishing Elder's entire being, rendering him unable to move. The flames struck Withering and Flourishing Elder with perfect accuracy. In an instant, Withering and Flourishing Elder was engulfed in fire. Miserable screams rang out. The heavenly punishment fire burned fiercely, causing Withering and Flourishing Elder unbearable pain. The 10 ninth level Tao Venerables who had arrived all immediately retreated in fear.
Heavenly punishment fire. Why has the heavenly punishment fire descended? Could it be that those explosions just now angered the great Tao?
Not only did they not understand, Withering and Flourishing Elder didn't understand either. He didn't understand why the heavenly punishment fire had descended. The explosions just now weren't caused by him, so why would the heavenly Tao count it against him? Lin Moyu watched this scene from afar, revealing a cold smile. He naturally understood the reason. Though the land was damaged by the battle beast's self-destruction, the battle beast's deaths were caused by Withering and Flourishing Elder. So naturally, most of the blame fell on Withering and Flourishing Elder. The great Tao judged right and wrong based on cause and effect. The heavenly punishment fire had already given a warning before. Now that Withering and Flourishing Elder had erred again, he naturally had to be punished by the heavenly punishment fire.
It seems I understand cause and effect better than you.
With a cold smile, Lin Moyu quickly flew away. He knew the heavenly punishment fire wouldn't last too long. Before long, Withering and Flourishing Elder would chase after him again. Moreover, the heavenly punishment fire was mainly for discipline, not truly meant to burn Withering and Flourishing Elder to death. Sure enough, less than 5 seconds after Lin Moyu left, Withering and Flourishing Elder, wreathed in flames, chased after him with murderous intent.
Kill you! I must kill you! This lord absolutely won't let you live.
In his fury, Withering and Flourishing Elder was already speaking incoherently. The 100 Herbs Alliance territory began to glow with light. Chapter 3306. What does it feel like to lose both the wife and the troops? The territory of the 100 Herbs Alliance began to glow with light, catching Lin Moyu's attention. The entire ground glowing simultaneously was extremely unusual. Within the light, Lin Moyu sensed a strange power of the Great Tao. This Great Tao power came from the same source as Withering and Flourishing Elder's power. Undoubtedly, this was Withering and Flourishing Elder's handiwork. After years of operating in the 100 Herbs Alliance, Withering and Flourishing Elder surely had many arrangements unknown to others. However, he didn't want others to know about these arrangements, so he hadn't used them initially. Now, determined to kill Lin Moyu, he no longer cared about keeping them secret. Lin Moyu was naturally wary of Withering and Flourishing Elder as a great Tao realm being, so he flew towards the sky without hesitation. Before he could fly 1,000 meters, he was suddenly pulled back down. A powerful suction force emerged from the ground, forcibly pulling him down. The suction was incredibly strong. The higher he flew, the stronger the suction he faced. Conversely, the suction was weaker closer to the ground. Besides the suction, the entire space became viscous. Lin Moyu found his speed rapidly decreasing. Not just him, those 9th level Tao Venerable experts from the 100 Herbs Alliance were also affected. At least half of the entire 100 Herbs territory was enveloped by this vast suction force. Withering and Flourishing Elder, the instigator, was also somewhat affected, his speed decreasing. But he was clearly less affected than Lin Moyu, his speed not dropping as drastically. The distance Lin Moyu had worked so hard to open up was now rapidly shrinking. Withering and Flourishing Elder was still wreathed in heavenly punishment fire. He was clearly in great discomfort. his voice trembling as he gritted out,
Boy, you've pushed this lord to this point. This lord will absolutely not let you go.
Lin Moyu had entered the 100 Herbs Alliance, using its beings as a threat, but to no effect. Then he had used various methods again and again, finally even finding a way to bring down heavenly punishment fire, ultimately making Withering and Flourishing Elder even more determined to kill him. Lin Moyu felt a kind of stubbornness in Withering and Flourishing Elder's personality. Withering and Flourishing Elder clearly wouldn't weigh pros and cons, he was simply rigid-minded.
How did he cultivate to the great Tao realm being so inflexible? Or are all plant-based lifeforms this rigid-minded?
Lin Moyu had no choice but to continue fleeing while observing the ground. The entire ground was glowing. For Withering and Flourishing Elder to make such an arrangement, and be reluctant to use it easily, there must be a reason. The specific reason wasn't actually important. What was important was understanding how Withering and Flourishing Elder had accomplished this. Though Great Tao realm beings were powerful with mysterious methods, everything had its roots. There were patterns amid the changes. Finally, Lin Moyu discovered some clues. The light covering the 100 Herbs Alliance ground actually varied in intensity. Some places glowed a bit brighter, some places a bit dimmer. But the differences weren't large. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't notice. Moreover, the depth and hue of the light differed. In Lin Moyu's eyes, by judging the strength and depth of the light, he gradually saw what was hidden beneath. It was the network of origin spirit veins with thin minor veins, slightly thicker branch veins, and main veins. The origin spirit veins varied in strength. There should be several origin spirit veins under the 100 Herbs Alliance ground. Some were strong and some weak. Withering and Flourishing Elder had used some unknown method to interweave these origin spirit veins. Then, using these origin spirit veins, he had arranged a great formation. The formation's level wasn't necessarily high, but using origin spirit veins as formation eyes made its power terrifyingly strong. Even a 5th grade formation, empowered by several origin spirit veins, could possibly reach 7th grade or even higher.
What an impressive feat!
Lin Moyu admired Withering and Flourishing Elder. Such a grand arrangement wasn't something an ordinary person could accomplish. Lin Moyu could see this formation had a single purpose, to generate an enormous suction force, stronger at greater distances. The formation was also aimed at the sky. This also meant Withering and Flourishing Elder wanted to pull down certain things from the sky. What was in the sky? Clouds? Water? Certainly not these things. Couldn't possibly be the Yang origin or Yin origin either. A flash of inspiration struck Lin Moyu, and he suddenly thought of the answer.
Could it be he's trying to pull down the ruins beyond the sky? No, that shouldn't be it.
Above the origin continent were ruins beyond the sky. Ordinary people couldn't reach the ruins beyond the sky. Even he couldn't because the ruins beyond the sky didn't exist in normal space. The ruins beyond the sky couldn't be pulled down at will. So what did Withering and Flourishing Elder want to pull down? Lin Moyu suddenly thought of a possibility. During the origin catastrophe long ago, since ruins beyond the sky had appeared, many fragments must have also been produced. These fragments drifted chaotically above the origin continent. If something was to be pulled down, it would be these things. Lin Moyu thought of the Icefire Seed. Now it seemed, had the Icefire Seed truly been something Withering and Flourishing Elder found beyond the sky, or possibly pulled down? This formation was too vast. Activating it once wasn't easy and would consume endless power. The power of origin spirit veins wasn't infinite either. After one activation, it would take a very long time to recover. So Withering and Flourishing Elder hadn't used this formation initially. Now he was afraid Lin Moyu would escape, so he activated it. A smile appeared at the corner of Lin Moyu's mouth.
You think this can trap me? Today I'll let you know what it feels like to lose both the wife and the troops.
Lin Moyu multitasked, drawing runes in his soul. At this moment he was flying at high speed. Even he couldn't draw runes in this state. He could only use his soul to draw runes, then bring them out to use. At this moment, Lin Moyu greatly envied the ability to form runes with a thought. This ability was unrelated to realm, requiring sudden enlightenment. With his current ability, he could only form low-level runes with a thought. Higher-level ones weren't possible. Lin Moyu observed the formation on the ground, flying as high as possible to see the formation's patterns. At the same time, he drew complex runes in his soul. Withering and Flourishing Elder was getting closer and closer, rapidly closing the distance with Lin Moyu. 1,000 miles, 800 miles, 500 miles, 100 miles. Finally, when the distance between them was only 100 miles, Withering and Flourishing Elder prepared to attack. At this distance, he was confident enough to kill Lin Moyu. The heavenly punishment fire on his body had finally extinguished, allowing him to attack at full power without restraint. Suddenly, he found Lin Moyu had stopped. Not only stopped, but was smiling at him.
Has this fellow gone mad?
The thought flashed through Withering and Flourishing Elder's mind. Then he saw an incredibly complex and exquisite rune fly out from Lin Moyu's hand, falling to the ground. Boom! An incredibly powerful force burst out from the ground. The suction instantly became a repulsive force, pushing him back hundreds of miles. This force was so strong that even Withering and Flourishing Elder could hardly resist it. After being pushed back hundreds of miles, Withering and Flourishing Elder looked at Lin Moyu in disbelief.
How is this possible?
Lin Moyu had actually used his own formation against him. Chapter 3307. Using the Spirit Plant Rebirth Treasure Ground to grow vegetables. Hundreds of miles away, Lin Moyu smiled.
Withering and Flourishing Elder, your formation is indeed quite good. But unfortunately, it's a bit too simple.
Withering and Flourishing Elder's low voice was squeezed out of his throat.
You dare to tamper with this lord's formation?
Lin Moyu shook his head.
No, from now on, this formation no longer belongs to you.
As the words fell, another complex and exquisite rune flew out from Lin Moyu's fingertip, falling into the ground and permeating into the formation. The ground rumbled. The light released by the formation was even more intense than before. Withering and Flourishing Elder's face changed drastically. He found his connection to the formation rapidly weakening. At this rate, he would soon have nothing to do with this formation. Just as Lin Moyu said, this formation no longer belonged to him. The formation he had personally arranged over more than 100 years was actually taken away in such a short time. Withering and Flourishing Elder's anger was beyond words. He was almost ready to attack Lin Moyu at all costs, regardless of the 30% power limit. Lin Moyu sensed Withering and Flourishing Elder's change but paid no mind, sending out rune after rune into the great formation. Withering and Flourishing Elder roared.
Stop! If you don't stop, this lord will.
Before he could finish, a vast repulsive force hit him head-on like a heavy punch, sending Withering and Flourishing Elder flying back thousands of miles. The formation could generate huge suction, and could also produce incredibly powerful repulsion. Positive and negative yin and yang Lin Moyu could freely convert between them. Lin Moyu gradually took control of the formation. Strong repulsive force spread outward with him at the center. Even with Withering and Flourishing Elder's strength, it was difficult to approach. This formation gathered dozens of large and small origin spirit veins from the 100 Herbs Alliance territory. Its power was unimaginable. Unless Withering and Flourishing Elder used his full power, he had no way to suppress the repulsive force. Withering and Flourishing Elder stabilized himself with difficulty after being pushed back 1,000 miles. He roared.
This lord will definitely kill you.
The projection of his true form appeared behind him again. Branches turned into vines, lashing down violently. In an instant, the world was filled with whip shadows. The vines broke through the repulsive force's obstruction, carrying tremendous momentum to whip Lin Moyu into meat paste. Lin Moyu seemed to have anticipated this. His time curse wings vibrated rapidly as he retreated like teleportation. As his figure disappeared, he broke Withering and Flourishing Elder's lock. Only a rune flew out from where he had been, falling into the formation. The formation's power instantly reversed, changing from repulsion to suction.
Not good.
Withering and Flourishing Elder's face changed, but it was too late. His attack not only missed, but due to the sudden suction force, Withering and Flourishing Elder had no time to withdraw. Countless vines lashed the ground. Mountains collapsed and the earth shattered. Even the formation was damaged. Withering and Flourishing Elder was truly enraged. The power of this strike was at the very limit of his 30%, far surpassing Tao Venerable Realm. Though not directly hit, the terrifying residual force still sent Lin Moyu flying uncontrollably for thousands of miles. But as he flew back, Lin Moyu smiled. He wasn't looking at Withering and Flourishing Elder, but at the heavenly punishment fire in the sky. The heavenly punishment fire moved again, even more violently than before. Large amounts of heavenly punishment fire descended, instantly falling on Withering and Flourishing Elder. Withering and Flourishing Elder was once again engulfed in heavenly punishment fire, screaming miserably. With his realm, this level of heavenly punishment fire naturally couldn't burn him to death, but he certainly wouldn't have a good time. After stabilizing himself, Lin Moyu smiled and continued drawing runes. Rune after rune flew out and fell to the ground. His control over the formation grew stronger and stronger. The formation was about to change hands. Withering and Flourishing Elder's 100 years of effort was about to become Lin Moyu's property. From within the flames came Withering and Flourishing Elder's furious roar full of killing intent.
Lin Moyu, this lord will never let you go, never.
Lin Moyu said with some contempt.
You've said this kind of thing so many times. Aren't you tired of it? I'm tired of hearing it. Don't you have any new phrases? How does it feel to make wedding clothes for others? This formation of yours, though a bit broken, still works quite well and covers a large enough area. From now on, this formation belongs to me. You can find another place to rebuild the 100 Herbs Alliance.
His tone was full of provocation. In fact, Lin Moyu was deliberately provoking Withering and Flourishing Elder. He knew clearly that Withering and Flourishing Elder couldn't kill him now. With this formation in place, for Withering and Flourishing Elder to kill him, he would have to break through the 30% combat power limit. But doing so would bring the Great Tao's punishment. Even if Withering and Flourishing Elder didn't die, he would be severely injured and unable to stay on the origin continent. Moreover, the Beast Emperor would arrive soon. With the Beast Emperor's strength, Withering and Flourishing Elder would have even less chance of killing him. Since that was the case, why fear him? Lin Moyu wanted to enrage him, make him break through the limit, and ultimately have to leave the origin continent, eliminating future troubles. As for killing Withering and Flourishing Elder, Lin Moyu no longer hoped for that. In his confrontation with Withering and Flourishing Elder, he had realized he had underestimated the Great Tao realm. If he wanted to kill Withering and Flourishing Elder, his only option now was to use the Calamity Scepter. But to use the Calamity Scepter to kill someone, he had to get close to Withering and Flourishing Elder, and Withering and Flourishing Elder had to be unable to counterattack, allowing Lin Moyu to attack freely. This was almost impossible. Now his goal was to make Withering and Flourishing Elder leave the origin continent. He had become a thorn in Withering and Flourishing Elder's side, probably his greatest enemy. As long as Withering and Flourishing Elder remained on the origin continent, Lin Moyu would never have peace. If Withering and Flourishing Elder learned of Tao City's existence someday, he would likely attack without hesitation, slaughtering everyone in Tao City inside and out. Lin Moyu believed he was capable of such a thing. After much consideration, forcing Withering and Flourishing Elder to leave the origin continent was the most secure method. Withering and Flourishing Elder kept grunting in the heavenly punishment fire, clearly in great discomfort. But at this moment, Withering and Flourishing Elder didn't speak. Lin Moyu knew clearly, the more silent he was, the more intense his hatred grew. Lin Moyu could clearly sense Withering and Flourishing Elder's killing intent, which had reached its peak. Since that was the case, Lin Moyu wouldn't miss such an opportunity. He continued,
Once I fully control this formation, what do you think I should do with the 100 Herbs Alliance? Expel them all, or lock them all up. Trap them all so they can't move, then kill them one by one. That seems like a good method too. I hear there's a special treasure ground for spirit plant rebirth in the core area of the 100 Herbs Alliance. I suppose you can't take this place with you. Why don't I help you deal with it? I'm quite interested in this spirit plant rebirth technique. I wonder if it would still work without that treasure ground.
As Lin Moyu spoke, he paid attention to Withering and Flourishing Elder's emotional changes. With his extremely keen perception, he could sense even Withering and Flourishing Elder's smallest changes. Lin Moyu found that with each additional sentence he spoke, Withering and Flourishing Elder's killing intent increased a bit. Especially when he mentioned the Spirit Plant Rebirth Treasure Ground, Withering and Flourishing Elder's killing intent suddenly increased considerably. This showed that the Spirit Plant Rebirth Treasure Ground was extremely important to Withering and Flourishing Elder. Lin Moyu keenly grasped this point and smiled.
I wonder how well it would work if I used the Spirit Plant Rebirth Treasure Ground to grow vegetables. Maybe I'll find some cows to plow it. Shut up. This old one will kill you.
Withering and Flourishing Elder finally broke. Terrifying aura erupted as he instantly manifested his true form, turning into a 10,000-meter giant tree crushing down towards Lin Moyu. Following books. The 100th Regression of the Max Level Player. Relight 3308 3308. Chapter 3308. If you want to know, strive to become a Tao Lord.
Success.
Lin Moyu was delighted. Withering and Flourishing Elder had finally broken through the 30% limit on his power, breaking the Great Tao's restriction. The Great Tao would certainly no longer allow him to stay on the Origin Continent. As long as Withering and Flourishing Elder left the Origin Continent, Lin Moyu would have no more future troubles. But now, he had to face Withering and Flourishing Elder attacking with full force in his rage. Facing a Great Tao realm being attacking with full power in his fury, Lin Moyu wouldn't be afraid if it was in the soul world. But in the real world, he simply couldn't withstand it. Withering and Flourishing Elder, wreathed in heavenly punishment fire, attacked. Lin Moyu fully activated the formation, turning it into repulsive force. The seemingly vast repulsive force couldn't stop Withering and Flourishing Elder's attack. The repulsive force was constantly pushed back, booming in the air. Layer upon layer of folds appeared between heaven and earth, then exploded under Withering and Flourishing Elder's attack. The ground shattered. The formation suffered backlash, breaking apart. Withering and Flourishing Elder's formation completely collapsed under his own attack. 100 years of effort shattered in this moment. Withering and Flourishing Elder no longer cared about this. He had gone berserk, now only wanting to kill Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's soul held the Great Tao Immortality Pill, ready to take it at any time. He wasn't sure if his rebirth could take effect under Withering and Flourishing Elder's attack. Moreover, rebirth was the final bottom line. Better not to use it if possible. This ability was for fighting to the death. As the formation shattered, Lin Moyu knew the strike was unstoppable. He was about to take the last Great Tao Immortality Pill. Suddenly, he stopped. A smile appeared on his face, knowing there was no problem now. A mist appeared beside him, enveloping him. Then his vision blurred, and he had already left Withering and Flourishing Elder's attack range. Withering and Flourishing Elder's attack fell on the ground, completely shattering thousands of miles of land, creating a bottomless pit. This strike was too strong, as if it would shatter the Western continent again. Even the Origin spirit veins under the ground shattered under this strike. Countless Origin chi rushed into the sky. The Great Tao was thoroughly angered, sending down countless heavenly punishment fires to burn Withering and Flourishing Elder. Withering and Flourishing Elder let out miserable screams, heart-rending. Lin Moyu was brought by the Beast Emperor, appearing 10,000 miles away. The terrifying shockwave passed over 10,000 miles, striking him. Lin Moyu felt that just this residual shockwave was enough to kill him. Fortunately, the Beast Emperor was there, blocking all the shockwaves for him. The Beast Emperor was still hidden in the mist. His voice was clearly somewhat shocked.
What did you do? Why has Withering and Flourishing Elder gone mad?
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
I insulted him a few times, and he became like this.
The Beast Emperor clearly didn't believe Lin Moyu's words. How could a great Tao realm being like withering and flourishing elder be driven mad by a few words? Lin Moyu must have done something quite excessive, or said some very excessive words, breaking withering and flourishing elder's bottom line. But now wasn't the time to inquire. Withering and flourishing elder, wreathed in heavenly punishment fire, charged over. For a great Tao realm being, a mere 10,000 miles could be crossed in the blink of an eye. Especially for a great Tao realm being going all out, 10,000 miles was nothing. Withering and flourishing elder appeared before the Beast Emperor and Lin Moyu as if teleporting. Countless vines lashed down again, while at the same time generating boundless suction force to prevent the two from escaping. The Beast Emperor enveloped Lin Moyu in mist, while activating a magical treasure. Space violently shook, a gap appearing.
Go!
The two entered the spatial gap, instantly leaving. When they appeared again, they were no longer on the western continent. Beneath their feet was the endless boundary sea. Lin Moyu was surprised. The Beast Emperor had actually fled with him. The Beast Emperor said,
Withering and flourishing elder has clearly gone mad now. He can't stay on the origin continent for long. Before long he'll be forcibly sent away by the great Tao.
The Beast Emperor's meaning was very clear. Now withering and flourishing elder had gone berserk, no longer caring about anything, attacking with full power. The Beast Emperor didn't want to fight such a withering and flourishing elder. It was meaningless. Lin Moyu asked,
How long can he stay on the origin continent? I see this heavenly punishment fire doesn't seem able to burn him to death.
The Beast Emperor said,
Well, heavenly punishment fire is just for punishing great Tao realm beings. It's certainly very painful when burning, but it's not enough to burn a great Tao realm being to death.
Lin Moyu made a sound of understanding.
So heavenly punishment fire is just for show.
The Beast Emperor denied Lin Moyu's words.
That's not the case. Heavenly punishment fire also has grades. What you see now is just the weakest heavenly punishment fire. If it were more powerful, it could burn a great Tao realm being to death. But that kind of fire rarely appears. You'll naturally know in the future. This emperor is quite interested. What exactly did you do to make withering and flourishing elder become like this?
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
After withering and flourishing elder leaves, I'll tell you the whole process.
The Beast Emperor laughed heartily.
Then this emperor is looking forward to it. It should be an interesting story.
Lin Moyu said,
Actually, it's nothing much. I was just trying to protect myself. If he hadn't been determined to kill me, I wouldn't have provoked him at all.
The Beast Emperor believed these words. No matter how arrogant Lin Moyu was, he wouldn't actively provoke withering and flourishing elder. Most likely withering and flourishing elder had come to hunt and kill him, but ended up having an accident instead. But from this, the Beast Emperor also realized he had underestimated Lin Moyu. Being hunted by withering and flourishing elder, yet able to turn it around and push withering and flourishing elder to this point among great Tao realm beings, probably no one but Lin Moyu could accomplish this. The Beast Emperor was about to speak when he suddenly said softly,
He's chasing over.
As he spoke, the Beast Emperor activated that magical treasure again, opening a spatial gap. The two stepped in, leaving again. But withering and flourishing elder had no intention of letting Lin Moyu go, still relentlessly chasing after them. The Beast Emperor didn't want to fight withering and flourishing elder, choosing to avoid him again and again. This repeated 5 times before the Beast Emperor looked up at the sky.
Time's up.
A brilliant great Tao appeared in the sky. This great Tao was different from others. It emitted an incomparably noble aura. High above, its nobility indescribable in words. But looking a second time, this great Tao had disappeared again, as if it had been an illusion just now. Then a mysterious aura descended. Lin Moyu had felt this kind of aura before. Back then in the sea race, when he had rescued Old Whale, a similar aura had descended when Old Whale left. The Beast Emperor said,
The great Tao has come to take someone. I wonder if this fellow will obediently go back.
Lin Moyu asked.
What if Withering and Flourishing Elder refuses to go back?
The Beast Emperor let out a light laugh.
Refuse to go back? Then he doesn't need to go back. Unless he wants to die, then he can refuse to go back. What do you think this is? This is the Great Tao. Even Great Tao realm beings can't defy the Great Tao. These are the rules.
Lin Moyu pursued the question.
Who made these rules?
The Beast Emperor chuckled.
How would I know who made them? If you want to know, then strive to become a Tao Lord. Only Tao Lords can stand as equals with the Great Tao and have the right to know these things.
The Beast Emperor's words carried a hint of envy. He also greatly envied existences at the Tao Lord level. A beam of light fell from the sky, landing on Withering and Flourishing Elder with perfect accuracy. Withering and Flourishing Elder was still wreathed in flames at this time, still somewhat crazed. But under the illumination of the Great Tao's light, Withering and Flourishing Elder began to calm down. He didn't resist the Great Tao, gradually rising into the sky along with the Great Tao's light. 3309 3309. Chapter 3309. Friend Lin, do you have any plans? Within the Great Tao's light, the heavenly punishment fire on Withering and Flourishing Elder gradually extinguished. Lin Moyu could sense Withering and Flourishing Elder staring intently at him, wanting to firmly remember him. The Beast Emperor said,
It seems he has truly remembered you. If you become a Great Tao realm being in the future, you should be careful.
Lin Moyu smiled.
No matter. If he still can't let it go, then I'll just kill him.
Lin Moyu seemed to speak casually, but to the Beast Emperor's ears, it was not so simple. He felt Lin Moyu spoke very seriously enough to be somewhat frightening. He believed that with Lin Moyu's abilities, if he truly reached the Great Tao realm, he could absolutely kill Withering and Flourishing Elder. Watching Withering and Flourishing Elder depart, the Beast Emperor sighed.
Countless years of effort, all ending in failure.
Lin Moyu asked,
Elder Beast Emperor, what exactly are you staying on the Origin continent for?
The Beast Emperor said,
We didn't stay here, but tried every means to come here. As for why, you'll naturally know in the future. But I can tell you, myself, the three ancestors, and that one in the boundary sea, though our methods differ, our goal is the same.
Lin Moyu grasped the key point in the Beast Emperor's words. They hadn't stayed on the Origin continent, but had tried every means to enter it. Clearly, it wasn't easy for them to enter the Origin continent. They must have paid a great price. It made sense. If it were so easy to enter the Origin continent, there would certainly be more Great Tao realm beings coming in. As for their purpose on the Origin continent, it wasn't actually important to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu knew clearly they wouldn't do anything harmful to the Origin continent, because that would bring the Great Tao's punishment, which even they couldn't withstand. The several of them had stayed on the Origin continent for who knows how many years, preparing for how many years, all for the same purpose. Unfortunately, now Withering and Flourishing Elder had made a mistake and was driven away by the Great Tao. It was indeed quite depressing. Lin Moyu would naturally be resented. Withering and Flourishing Elder certainly wouldn't let him go. But looking at Lin Moyu's manner, he wasn't afraid at all. On the contrary, he was thinking of killing Withering and Flourishing Elder. The Beast Emperor couldn't help but sigh for Withering and Flourishing Elder, wishing him good fortune. After Withering and Flourishing Elder left, the Beast Emperor smiled and said,
Now can you tell me?
Lin Moyu said,
It's a long story. Let's talk as we go. By the way, you can also tell me what's so amazing about the Spirit Plant Rebirth Treasure Ground.
On the way back, Lin Moyu roughly explained the whole process. He started from the destruction of the Netherworld race, but omitted some information about the Netherworld Black Pool, only saying he had obtained 2 hell fragments, adding that he already had a grudge with the Netherworld race, and they attacked him en masse, so he wiped them out in passing. The life or death of the Netherworld race meant nothing in the Beast Emperor's eyes. He didn't care at all. What the Beast Emperor cared more about was how Lin Moyu had held on until he arrived after being discovered by Withering and Flourishing Elder. Though he had hurried over at top speed, It still took nearly an hour. During this time, what exactly had Lin Moyu done? Not only was Lin Moyu unharmed, but Withering and Flourishing Elder was in a worse state. When Lin Moyu explained the whole process, the Beast Emperor listened in amazement. What Lin Moyu had done was unimaginable to him. He had fully utilized almost everything that could be used, turning each unfavorable condition into a favorable one. The Beast Emperor put himself in that situation and found he couldn't have done things to that degree like Lin Moyu, especially at the end, luring Withering and Flourishing Elder to attack and damage the Origin continent, bringing down heavenly punishment fire, then using words to enrage Withering and Flourishing Elder, making him unleash his full power, ultimately causing Withering and Flourishing Elder to be driven away by the Great Tao. These things sounded not difficult when Lin Moyu said them, but were actually ridiculously hard. No one else could have done it. Thinking back now, Lin Moyu had actually been prepared to face Withering and Flourishing Elder from the very beginning. The Beast Emperor said,
"There was a process from Withering and Flourishing Elder losing his reason and attacking you with full force until he was driven away by the Great Tao. Did you consider how to deal with it if I hadn't arrived in time?"
Lin Moyu smiled carefreely.
"Didn't I still have a Great Tao immortality pill? I could have held on for a while at least. Moreover, I believed in Elder Beast Emperor. You would certainly arrive in time, early rather than late."
The Beast Emperor smiled.
"I didn't expect you to have such confidence in me."
Lin Moyu said very affirmatively.
"Of course. Though Lin's realm is low, my judgment isn't bad. I have a good sense of what kind of person Elder Beast Emperor is."
This flattery made the Beast Emperor quite pleased.
"Indeed, what this Emperor promises, he will certainly accomplish."
Lin Moyu timely ended this topic.
"Elder Beast Emperor, if possible, can you tell me about the Spirit Plant Rebirth Treasure Ground?"
Obviously, what Withering and Flourishing Elder cared about most was that Spirit Plant Rebirth Treasure Ground. Previously, he had successfully enraged him using the Spirit Plant Rebirth Treasure Ground as an excuse. The Beast Emperor chuckled.
"That Spirit Plant Rebirth Treasure Ground actually has some background. It's not something from the Origin continent."
Lin Moyu showed a strange expression.
"Not from the Origin continent? Could it be?"
He thought of the formation in the 100 Herbs Alliance territory. If it wasn't from the Origin continent, then it might be from beyond the sky. The Beast Emperor said,
"Your guess is correct. That treasure ground was indeed pulled down from beyond the sky through the formation. I don't know which Great Tao realm expert this treasure ground originally belonged to before falling into Withering and Flourishing Elder's hands. Withering and Flourishing Elder obtained the Spirit Plant Rebirth method from the treasure ground, so he passed down the Spirit Plant Rebirth method. But he made some modifications, making the Spirit Plant Rebirth method serve himself. Now that he's gone, this Spirit Plant Rebirth method is also useless. In the future, those plant and wood Tao venerables can no longer rely on this method for unlimited rebirth."
After the Beast Emperor's explanation, Lin Moyu learned that the Spirit Plant Rebirth method, including the required treasure ground, truly came from beyond the sky. Lin Moyu said,
"Besides using it for Spirit Plant Rebirth, does that treasure ground have any other uses?"
The Beast Emperor said,
"It's somewhat useful for plant-based life forms, but not much use for others. Friend Lin can take it away. Perhaps when you become a Great Tao realm being in the future, you can sell it to those fellows. You can also sell it to the three ancestors. The three ancestors will certainly offer a good price."
In the Great Taos beyond the sky, there were no small number of plant-based Great Tao realm beings. Good things could be exchanged from them using the treasure ground. This time Withering and Flourishing Elder left in such a hurry that he didn't even have time to take this treasure ground. It shows how close to madness he was at the time. Lin Moyu said,
"Over so many years, Withering and Flourishing Elder must have obtained quite a few good things from beyond the sky, right?"
The Beast Emperor said,
"There are indeed many good things beyond the sky, but they can't be obtained casually. That fellow would activate the Great Formation once every few hundred years, but most times there was no gain at all. Actually, the three ancestors gained more. The three ancestors can personally go to the ruins beyond the sky, which is better than blindly activating the formation like him.
Lin Moyu was slightly stunned.
Withering and Flourishing Elder can't go to the ruins beyond the sky?
The Beast Emperor said.
Of course he can go, but it's very troublesome to go once, and the price paid is not small. He's not like the three ancestors. The three ancestors have a treasure that makes going beyond the sky relatively simple.
Lin Moyu chuckled.
What about you?
The Beast Emperor laughed heartily.
This emperor can naturally go too. You'll understand in the future.
All right, another sentence dismissing him. Lin Moyu couldn't be bothered to pursue the question. The two quickly approached the western continent. The Beast Emperor asked,
Now that Withering and Flourishing Elder has left, the 100 Herbs Alliance territory is empty. Adding the Netherworld race's territory, does friend Lin have any plans?
Chapter 33:10. This emperor will give you some advice. The Netherworld race's territory wasn't large, but the 100 Herbs Alliance's territory was not small. These two territories combined were much larger than Dao City. The Beast Emperor continued,
These two areas are now unclaimed. Friend Lin, you know that occupying territory is actually very important on the origin continent. You shouldn't waste this opportunity.
There seemed to be deeper meaning in his words. Lin Moyu immediately asked humbly,
Please enlighten me, Elder Beast Emperor.
The Beast Emperor said,
There are some things I can't say too explicitly. With your intelligence, you should understand this emperor's meaning.
Lin Moyu immediately had some understanding. Occupying territory seemed very important. The Beast Emperor occupied an enormous territory. Though the entire northern continent didn't completely belong to him, it was still his domain. The three ancestors were the same. They occupied a large area in the eastern continent, and also had forces in various continents. Though they didn't seem to be the dominant force everywhere, when adding up the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce's territory, the area the three ancestors occupied was no less than the Beast Emperor's. As for the King of the Boundary Sea, there was no need to mention. How large was the entire Boundary Sea? How vast was that territory, far surpassing the Beast Emperor and three ancestors? Antares, becoming the new emperor of the Eastern Spirit Empire, also secretly occupied a large territory. These great Dao realm beings certainly knew some information, which is why they did this. With the Beast Emperor's reminder, Lin Moyu naturally understood what he should do. Lin Moyu said,
There are quite a few Dao Venerables in the 100 Herbs Alliance.
The Beast Emperor smiled and said,
What do you want to do? If you need help, this emperor can assist you, but it won't be free.
Lin Moyu laughed heartily.
Of course. Junior is already very grateful that Elder Beast Emperor could come. For the following matters, Junior will naturally pay compensation.
Lin Moyu expressed his thoughts.
Then Junior will speak directly. First, I trouble Elder Beast Emperor to kill Withering and Flourishing Elder's Thorn Avatar and bring its corpse to Junior. Second, gather all the Dao Venerables of 7th level and above from the 100 Herbs Alliance.
Withering and Flourishing Elder had left, but his avatar was still here. The Thorn Avatar had fled somewhere, but Su Pu was in constant pursuit, couldn't escape. As for the Dao Venerables in the 100 Herbs Alliance, the undead army was conducting a carpet search. They also couldn't escape. Lin Moyu could easily handle those below 7th level Dao Venerable himself. He didn't need the Beast Emperor's help. For 7th level and above, the Beast Emperor would control them and bring them. The Beast Emperor didn't ask at all what Lin Moyu planned to do. He first did as Lin Moyu instructed. He also didn't ask about compensation. He believed Lin Moyu would certainly give him reasonable payment. Lin Moyu guided the Beast Emperor in direction, quickly catching up to the Thorn Avatar still entangled with Su Pu. Though the Thorn Avatar was strong, it was no match at all against the Beast Emperor. In just a few moves, the Thorn Avatar was killed. Lin Moyu took away the Thorn Avatar's corpse, then together with the Beast Emperor, subdued the Dao Venerables of 7th level and above in the 100 Herbs Alliance one by one, gathering them in one place. This matter wasn't difficult for the Beast Emperor, just took some effort. The 100 Herbs Alliance was not weak. There were over 300 7th level Dao Venerable members, over 78th level, and a full 10th level. They had various forms, not all plants. There were also a few spirit beasts. The strangest one was a half-insect half-plant being, with half its body insect and half-plant. They were all injured by the Beast Emperor, forced to gather in one place in a dispirited state. Lin Moyu had them wait. After a short while, dark clouds flew over from the distance. The dark clouds were a vast expanse, each cloud an innumerable undead army. The Legion commanders controlled the undead armies, bringing the Dao Venerables below 7th level. If any resisted, they would be subdued by force. If force couldn't subdue them, they would be killed. Lin Moyu didn't intend to kill them all, but if they resisted, he wouldn't show any mercy. In just 5 days, all the surviving Dao Venerables in the 100 Herbs Alliance had been gathered together. Lin Moyu looked down at these Dao Venerables from above.
I give you 2 paths. 1 is to live, 2 is to die. Those who choose to live will swear a great Dao oath to never be my enemy. I will choose an area for you where you can continue to survive and multiply. Those who choose to die, that's even simpler. I will personally send you on your way. But I want to make it clear, if any of you choose death, I won't just kill one person, but your entire lineage.
Lin Moyu's voice was like a merciless demon, reverberating in all the Dao Venerables' souls. Many of the Dao Venerables present were leaders of their clans. Especially those 7th level and above all had a vast lineage behind them. Plants and trees that had gained sentience and become Dao Venerables all valued their lineages highly and were very united. Lin Moyu's conditions left them almost no choice. Even the Beast Emperor had to inwardly praise Lin Moyu for grasping the 100 Herbs Alliance Dao Venerables so precisely. It seemed like 2 choices but was actually only one choice. Either swear a great Dao oath and live, or face clan extinction. Obviously Lin Moyu had overestimated the Dao Venerables' loyalty to Withering and Flourishing Elder. Learning that Withering and Flourishing Elder couldn't return, they decisively chose to live. One by one, the Dao Venerables swore great Dao oaths, and even engraved the oaths into their bloodline inheritance. This was equivalent to their entire clans swearing the oath. Lin Moyu projected a map of the Western continent, then drew out an area on the map. This area was located between the 100 Herbs Alliance and the insect race, a long narrow region. This area was naturally not as good as the 100 Herbs Alliance's former territory, only about 1/5 of before, but it was enough for these plants and trees to live. Plants and trees that had gained sentience originally didn't have high requirements for territory. The key was that after having this area, once Lin Moyu occupied this territory, it would create a buffer between him and the insect race. If the insect race wanted to provoke Lin Moyu, they would first have to get past the plant and tree Dao Venerables. The Beast Emperor watched Lin Moyu's arrangements. Though he said nothing, he felt Lin Moyu had arranged things very well. After making the arrangements, Lin Moyu said to the Beast Emperor,
Elder Beast Emperor, do you think my arrangements are all right?
The Beast Emperor chuckled lightly.
Completely fine. Your arrangements are very good.
Lin Moyu nodded and said loudly,
Then so be it. You have 10 days to start moving.
As the words fell, all the plant and tree Dao Venerables quickly took action. With rumbling sounds from the earth, the plant and tree Dao Venerables swiftly departed, beginning to move their entire clans. 10 days was enough time for them to move. After 10 days, 4/5 of the original 100 Herbs Alliance territory, plus the Netherworld race's territory, would all belong to Lin Moyu. The territory Lin Moyu now occupied was actually on par with what Withering and Flourishing Elder had occupied before. After all the Dao Venerables left, the Beast Emperor asked,
How does friend Lin plan to handle his territory?
Lin Moyu said,
I haven't thought it through yet. Please give me some advice, Elder Beast Emperor.
As he spoke, Lin Moyu took out 2 Icefire Dao stones and handed them to the Beast Emperor. The Beast Emperor was clearly somewhat surprised.
So polite?
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
Elder Beast Emperor came from afar to save Junior, and even helped Junior kill people and find people. This compensation is what Elder deserves.
The Beast Emperor chuckled.
Then this Emperor won't be polite. As for how you should develop this territory, this emperor will give you some advice.